Okay, we are live. Movie Madness and Entertainment Live has the Black Angus on, and Brian, Master of Streams, Master of Movie Madness Live. You know what? If you are in the chat and if you're watching, smash the hell out of the like button. Support us, guys. Giving real talk. You know what? If you are, I hear an echo. Oh, sorry. All right. So yeah, who's Alex? I'm saying who's Alex. I'm also gonna go hot. Should I go hot on Hamada? Should I go hot like I did all those Kathy Kennedy fire videos, which were absolute bullshit? No, they weren't bullshit. It's a little bit bullshit. I knew what I was doing.
I think it's a little bit different situation than Kathleen Kennedy, though.
What's it?
It's a little bit different situation than what Kathleen Kennedy was dealing with.
I know. Yes. She's still there. What about Hamada? I think he fears the success of the Snyder Cut. I really do. There's an article that's been going around. We're going to examine the article, and we're going to examine the revealing parts of the article that really show what a huge mistake he is saying in two parts of the most revealing parts of the article. I'm not going to read the whole goddamn thing because everyone can do that. And some people make a living just reading the whole damn article, not reading it well. Go look at Geeks and Gamers. But we're just going to take the two most important parts of the article that really show you what he is about and how it's kind of still throwing shade on my man Zack Snyder. I do not see how a president of DC Films could still act this way when it's a green light for the Snyder Cut, even if you don't want it to succeed. To make these comments in an article, it shows that you are not really wanting this to succeed. Why would you want something that your company you work for producing not to be a success? Or at the very least say, we'll see how it goes, you know?
I think it would be an admission of failure at this point, because let's be honest, every movie since BVS has been a tonal shift, and he's the man responsible, you know. At the end of the day, the buck stops with him. And, they haven't been box office successes.
Well, he can't count on James Wan forever. I mean, Wan, I mean, he's more successful because of James Wan than the other way around, I think. Yeah. James Wan, I actually think James Wan should be sought after more for these big, epic, blockbuster movies with the success of Aquaman. Now, Aquaman wasn't amazing, but it was very successful. Complicated CGI battles that the CGI was still, it's not the best I've ever seen, but it was top notch. He can handle big, complex action sequences that are necessary in these. Now, Patty Jenkins, she can't. I'm sorry, Patty Jenkins, the Wonder Woman 84 movie, the action was not the best. The action scenes, even just with her and Cheetah, were decent. They were not amazing. I'm sorry. So I do have my doubts about her Star Wars project. If she got the invisible jet to work on screen, I guess. But we're talking about Rogue Squadron now. I mean, did you see Wonder Woman 84, Angus? Yeah, you did. You did a review, right?
Yeah. Awful.
It was awful. Is this another? I mean, this is the typical Lucasfilm and Kathy thing. This is one of Kathy's failures. Is she goes with who's hot right now? We're gonna get back to Hamada. Don't worry. She goes with who's hot. She hires with who's hot, and then they make a big misstep, and then everyone turns against them, just like D.B. Weiss, David Benioff, Ryan Johnson.
Aside from Ryan Johnson, though, most of those faux pas have been outside of Star Wars. That's the funny part. Like, it's like with Colin Trevorrow. It was like he made some other movies that stunk, and they're like, oh well, Benioff and Weiss, the last season of Game of Thrones, and they're like, probably not a good idea to give him a series either.
He has a horrible track record of hiring someone right after they've had one success, and then their follow-up is a whiff every single time.
Yeah, it's like in football when when a GM and a coach take over a team, they'll whiff a few years in the draft, getting the top guy because their team sucks and they got to replace those players. But that's kind of what it was in the early years of Disney Star Wars, if you kind of look at it that way.
Yeah. I honestly want them to. I wish they would have kept Benioff and Weiss. They could have done something good for Star Wars, especially with Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
I think that was a misstep to like jump the gun with the season 8 fallout. And there's a whole argument to be had about why that unfolded the way it did with season 8. But you follow through. You're so adamant with Ryan Johnson before his movie was even tested. So I was excited about Last Jedi. I was like, wow, he's got a trilogy.
That's when I was right on. I do take credit for that. I was the first one on YouTube. So his announcement's bullshit, and it's never going to happen. And I always said I would delete my channel. I was that sure of it. You remember that back in the day. You both could attest that. I said I will delete my channel if a Ryan Johnson trilogy ever exists where it's written and directed by him, and we see a first trailer. I will be done.
Now,
I'm so sure.
What if Max? What if it turns out that his trilogy, like I joked in a sources video, turns out to be Leslie Headland's show, and he writes and directs a trilogy of episodes?
That doesn't count.
He comes in for Mandalorian season 3 and directs the 3 seasons.
That's not what they announced. That's not what they. 3 episodes.
It is a trilogy.
No, you're not. Kancha says, please invite Lantern Alex. I would, but that's short notice, and I haven't talked to him in a while. Who is Alex? He's a Snyder Cut supporter that likes to throw heat. Chubby, you know who Alex? Oh, Chubby Teddy saying, Max, your collab with Sil Abdul was pretty good. Thank you. And let me get here. Hamada's days are numbered. Now, I'm not against Walter Hamada either. I just don't see that he's been overly successful.
Yeah.
I think he probably had something to do with the Aquaman because James Wan and him are really tight with The Conjuring. I think also he kind of failed by not getting James Wan like immediately started on Aquaman 2. Like I still haven't heard about Aquaman 2, but they're talking about like a spinoff, which would have been interesting, but
they're talking about resetting the whole universe with a Flashpoint movie and blah 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 blah. It's like,
right? Like why,
man? Like,
why would you not immediately get James Wan to start Aquaman 2? I don't. It's too. By the time we actually get it, it's going to be 5 years.
I think they were afraid of success.
They're afraid of who? Success?
They're afraid of success. I mean, like the movies that actually were good, they were like, no, we don't like those. So, but we're going to give you this. You know what I mean?
Well,
so it's like,
let's get to the meat of the article. It really shows his thinking in that he's not really supporting the Snyder Cut release. I think he had nothing to do with it. It really is the AT&T side and how it's a big mistake. Here, let me go. You don't count Zack Snyder out. It may not be successful. I will admit, I think it's going to be successful. I will admit, though, that it may not reach the general public. The general public might be like, it might land with a thud for them. I don't think so, but it's possible. But you still, if you're a smart man and you're the president, you shouldn't roll it out. You should look. You shouldn't shut things down before you see what's trending and see the reception of it or root against it. I think he's rooting against it, and it's very revealing right here. We'll get to. I'll share the article now. All right, we're not going to read the whole article. I did read it, but you should go check it out. I think everyone's covered it to death by now. By the time I get to stream. All right, here we go. So this is on the New York Times. And this is what I thought was great. This is what you want to hear from the DC president. Although I think his slate of announcement is also bullshit, just like Kathy. I don't think she's learned anything either. Like she just announced a bunch of stuff that I don't think all of those projects are going to come to fruition, just like he's doing now. This is for investors. Like, I know what I'm doing. I got a whole big plan. We're all. I don't think everything he says is going to happen. Just the same problem with Kathy. The only one that really gets most projects, very few failures, is Feige. Whether you like him or you hate him. And I know we have a lot of DC fans in the chat, but he gets the projects into completion and they fit in the piece. If you think they're cookie cutter and they're mostly the same type of project,
yeah, but at least that's consistency, though.
He still delivers. Hamada and Kathy are the same. They keep it will eat the past DC presidents do. They announce a bunch of shit for investors where you don't even know we're going to have 4 movies a year. How are they going to have 4? He said in this article that they're going to have 4 movies a year starting in 2022. How are they going to do that? I mean, the only one that's really a go for that I think is definitely going to happen is finally the Flash. Which how many false starts and farts do we have for the Flash? Oh, we're getting it go. We got a director. Yeah,
we got Michael Keaton in it. It's like
no. I mean that's actually a positive. Cool. I think it's going to happen now.
It's one of those things where it's like, let's tell them all the cool stuff that we want to hear, just to try to get the groundswell going behind it. So it's like, I don't know, man. I got disappointed when I saw Aquaman because it really bummed me out because it was like the last one of those movies that felt a part of the Snyderverse in a sense. I don't like where they're going with this. I don't like how they're changing things. Marvel is successful because they're consistent. They have a consistent vision. I mean, for better or worse.
Cutter.
Yeah, but still, movies. At least we can follow it as a general audience. I'm not talking about the fans of the properties. I'm talking about the people who will go see it that want to go spend money on a Friday night. You know what I mean? There's a big difference between you and me, Angus. We're different in a sense that we're fans of the properties and we're going to look at it in a different light. We'll go see it multiple times.
And the other thing that's so infuriating about this article and where Hamada's coming from is he says the multiverse is a way where you can have different Batmen working at the same time. And then he still shuts down the future of the Snyderverse. Even if he thinks it's a far-fetched idea, he shuts it down at the end of this article. So here's the first part, which I love. With every movie that we're looking at now, we are thinking, what's the potential max spinoff? Mr. Hamada said. So with he says movie here, but I'd like to change it. I wish he would have said project. With every project, what is the way we could spin it off? You should apply that to the Snyder Cut. And then he goes through the whole article saying about how many movies we're going to be making. Listen, man, you haven't delivered that much since you've taken over. Aquaman was already a thing, and so was Wonder Woman 84. Shazam was under Hamada. That was a success. And then now we have the Matt Reeves Batman trilogy, which is looks amazing to me.
But it's just another course correct, though. It's like, we want to see Ben Affleck as Batman. I don't care about Robert Pattinson. Like, you know what I mean? That's what
why would you, in the same article, say to make all the storylines work, DC Films will introduce movie audiences to a comics concept known as the multiverse, and then at the end of the interview, shut down that Snyderverse will have anything to do with it. And that's where we're going to get to. I have to find it at the end here. I think everyone's heard it before. Let me get to the exact quote here. Oh, here's what they say are spinoffs. Here's what he confirms that is in various stages of gestation, including a Suicide Squad sequel, The Batman, in which Robert Pattinson, Twilight, plays the Cape Crusader, and Black Adam, starring Dwayne Johnson, which Black Adam has more to do with Dwayne Johnson never giving up on that film more than Hamada. Television spinoffs The Batman and The Suicide Squad are head to HBO Max. And Superman and Lois, which no one gives a crap out. All right, let me get down here. I had it. It's the cul-de-sac quote. I'm trying to find it, though. All right. Man, it's a long article. I forget where it's towards the end. It's towards the end. Stay with me. Okay, here. I'm sorry, viewers. Did we lose viewers? Yeah, we lost one. Oh well. It's. I need my contacts in. Okay, so at least for now. Oh, is someone else pop in? All right, Chubby Teddy.
Hey, buddy, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, gangsters? Look at all you guys, man. What's the word? Let's crack a laugh.
Hamada's out. That's the word. No. I think isn't it? Okay, Chubby Teddy. I'm going to put you on the big screen here. Isn't it infuriating to read this article with Hamada? Yeah, great. You looking great, Chubby Teddy. You looking great.
Nice shirt.
To say, yeah, it's great. Isn't it infuriating to hear him talk about how they're looking at every movie to see if there's a max potential for a spinoff or another project, and then he goes deep into the multiverse as a way where we can have two Batman, and then completely shuts down the Snyderverse as a cul-de-sac, a road that leads to nowhere. That there's no future for that. Why would he shut it down? Doesn't that reveal his bias in how he is not? And isn't it frustrating too to have a president of a company for a project that's got the green light, Snyder Cut's coming out, not to go by and show your support for it, especially the history of how they took it away from him, from Zach.
Absolutely agree. And I think it's pretty. That's what I'm looking for. It's kind of a slap in the face to Zach, just because Hamada is very aware of the want and the what's the word I'm looking for, the sensationalism of the Snyder Cut movement and how big this thing just erupted, and it just kept going. It just once the hashtag came out, and once we saw some of the Reddit threads and some of the other things going on behind the scenes, and we really saw like all the damning things that took place behind the scenes with Johns. At least that's sort of the speculation that took place. And he's well aware of the want and the need for the Snyder Cut. And if anything that's taking place right now to really generate more buzz with DC, it's Snyder. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Yeah. And I just think that he knows better. He knows that, if he really was unbiased, if he really respected just, the product that they're putting out there as a whole, he would show like some excitement. He would really just get in. And here's the thing with Hamada. I feel like he's just going through the motions with DC. You've never seen him come out. When they announced he was going to be the one helming DC back in, I think, 2018, when all that stuff went down, when all the Brown stuff went down with everyone in that leadership role at DC, he never came out and said, "Hey, listen, I'm really excited and thrilled to be part of this unique universe and all these great heroes that I grew up with and all you grew up with, and I really can't wait to just unveil this big plan to you guys. I'm Walter Hamada, look at my cool hair." He never came out and said anything like that. He's just been sitting behind the scenes. And I mean, listen, I think I made this comment, I think maybe on Angus's video or maybe yours, Max. But listen, man, we all know that Kevin Feige is very passive aggressive. Okay, when he comes out, it's very scripted. He never really comes out and talks about any of this, any of the real like nitty gritty stuff. But he's just got good PR. But I just feel like Hamada is so passive aggressive. He makes Kevin Feige look like a Slipknot concert. That's how passive aggressive Hamada's been. And I just feel like he doesn't want to be there at all. He's confused. He doesn't know anything. But remember, at the same time too, and this is kind of shame on the whole studio as a whole. Remember the black suit. They wanted to cancel the black suit because they didn't know anything about the black suit going into Justice League. So it just kind of shows you how to touch the higher ups have been from the get-go with this.
Yep.
I feel like
I'm just shocked that this has actually got the green light, the Snyder Cut, and that at the very least, there's nothing positive coming out of his mouth. Like, oh, we were so happy Zach complete his vision. You still don't get any of that shit.
Absolutely.
You don't
Absolutely.
get any of it.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you 100%, Max. Absolutely. 1,050%.
We have the multiverse here. We're talking about the multiverse. Why would you shut down and say, oh, it leads nowhere? There's always you can have it go and continue in some form.
I argue the multiverse concept leads nowhere. Like, he hasn't done anything thus far to show me that he's going to be successful going forward. That's why you don't keep paying the guy that keeps screwing up. Like, that's what I don't understand. That's what's different than Kathleen Kennedy. Her screw-ups were kind of objective. These ones are, fact. Okay?
Yes.
The movie started falling off after a certain point, and it was just like, no. And it's this guy's fault.
No consistency.
So it's like, whatever, man. Yeah,
no consistency. Like, the multiverse is a clear, like, crap, what do we do? Because, you had the Snyderverse poorly received across the board with those 3 movies. 3 with the Justice League, even though that wasn't fully Zack Snyder. And then they do, like, Aquaman, which is a Snyder casting, but I would say a total different direction from the Snyderverse, in my opinion. It feels like a Marvel movie. I love Marvel movies, but I go to DC to get something completely different tonally. And they're just like scrambling to compete. They're looking at the competition, just like the DC fandom in general. You don't see a lot of like, we're cool because of this. It's a lot of like, oh no, Marvel. And it's like, well, they got $20 billion from their movies, so they're doing something right with general audiences and the comic fans. DC is just like, it's like that video of making fun of Vice where it's like, what do we write an article about? And they just throw dildos behind their head at the board.
I know what
That's what it feels like. And this Hamada guy, it's weird too, because Hamada is clearly running the ship right now. With Ray Fisher saying like, "Oh, well, I'm out if Hamada's there," and it seems like, well, Hamada's coming out saying stuff like
I like Ray Fisher, but I didn't like that specific quote unless he really knows something. Unless he really knows he's out, Hamada's out. Because I want Cyborg to continue, and I think that pushes more the fandom more that doesn't even want to get into the argument of what Ray's to bring in. I still support Ray Fisher. I'm like, oh, come on, man, we got to make this work somehow. Unless he really knows something, like Hamada is out. If he's on his way out, he's just announcing.
I don't think Hamada would be saying this stuff if he wasn't like secure in his spot. I'm talking about 4 projects and more a year.
I think that's what he would do if he stays, but I don't see a lot of confidence coming there. DC fandom was exciting it's just like the Kathy thing. The Mandalorian's a big success, and then she announced a bunch of stuff. Listen, a lot of this stuff is not even going into production yet. The majority of these projects are just not going to happen. Or there's something going to happen, a director will fall through. It's just, I don't see all this stuff coming out. I don't.
Well, and you got to remember this, and just to kind of, I guess, have a connecting vein into Disney and Star Wars. Remember, it was Favreau that announced, the Boba Fett show. That wasn't on Kathleen Kennedy's time. That was Jon Favreau wanting to come out, and he did it he didn't just unveil Luke Skywalker. He unveiled, Boba Fett show, and that was on him. And so I guess just to kind of segue back into Ray Fisher, look, he knows what he's doing. I really feel like he knows what he's doing. That wasn't like just an impulse, emotional reaction. I think that was something that he kind of set up. He's not a dumb guy.
Do you think Hamada lied? I want to get everyone on the panel and in the chat.
When
he said, when that article came out that said, I wasn't trying to play softball for Jeff Johns. Do you think he's like, leave Jeff alone, do what you're going to do? But do you think he was trying to talk Ray out of it and then he lied in the article?
Oh, yeah. Does a one-legged duck swim in a circle? Absolutely, man. That was plain as day, man. Because you got to remember that, Jeff Johns, okay, so he wrote a lot of good comics, as we know. We know his movies aren't really the greatest as far as what we've seen so far, okay? But we know that he's very well favored amongst all the, I hate to use this term on your show, Max, but all the shills. you know, the Colliders, you know, the Nerdist, the CBMs, the, you know, all those paint by numbers nerd sources. You know, he's on good terms with them. They love him. Exactly, Brian. You got it, man. Exactly. And so, yeah, I mean, he's, you know, so like narrative wise, Jeff Johns has the edge, you know, he's got the PR stuff down, but, and I think that's, you know, Hamada is just trying to keep him in because he knows that having Jeff Johns in there could really be a benefactor, but has it really, you know?
Yeah. I mean, both their track records aren't very good.
Right.
If Wonder Woman 84 is an indication, it's not good with him around. And he have something to do with the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern too?
Yeah, he was a big part of Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. So it's like, dude, Jeff Johns has a very good track record.
That was his.
I like Green Lantern better than I like 84.
Oh yeah, Green Lantern is better than 84. Yeah. It's just they try to tell too much to start because that was supposed to be the start of the DCEU.
They held back. Sometimes superhero films set up the big bad like Sinestro, and then they waited for the sequel. They should have just done that right away or done a cliffhanger with him because Mark Strong was a great, you know, that would have been a great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, the other thing that was pretty annoying about that Green Lantern movie, you got to remember, so Blackest Night, Brightest Day kind of came on the time that that movie came out, right? And here's the thing. If you're going to get to parallax in the movie universe, you got to do something big like the MCU and have like 20 movies to build up to parallax, man. And they just have him as like this, you know, as the main baddie at the very end. Yeah, as the space part, man. And you just couldn't do that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like
right.
I actually like the CG suit too, and when they were filming that, I'm like, that sounds stupid. I mean, looking it back now, I guess it doesn't work as much as my mind thought, but it wasn't horrible. Ryan Reynolds was fine. It was fun. You know,
dude, they copied Iron Man 4 years after Iron Man. They copied the Stalin the plane up in the air. Like what? You're trying to compete with DC or Marvel, not copy them.
That's true.
That was Zeno. I almost called him by his old name. Sorry, Zeno 49th. All these comic book movies are silly fun. Why do DC Gans? I think you meant fans. Have to rag on Marvel and vice versa. That's a good point. I get frustrated by my Snyder Cut fellow YouTubers, you know, the Gob too, love to trash on Marvel and MCU. Listen, I see that they sometimes don't are not as realistic and they follow a formula, but they are successful and they cross past comic book fans into the general public loves Marvel movies. That's where we need DC. We need more of that, not less of that. So I don't want to criticize them too much. I know also some people really don't like Feige. I don't mind Feige. Yeah. I don't know. Some say he's nefarious. He's done things to screw up the DCEU too. I don't know about all that. But it's working. I don't like to say, Wonder Woman 84 is so bad it's like a Marvel movie. That I've seen that argument a lot.
I'm seeing that too.
Lots of Marvel movies are way better than 1984. I'm sorry. And I was rooting for Patty. I was rooting for Gal.
Yeah, we all were.
I'd rather see Captain Marvel. I'd rather see Incredible Hulk. I'd rather see Ant-Man and the Wasp than 84. That's how bad that movie is.
Oh man!
I'd rather see Suicide Squad, and I hated that movie.
Ouch!
Yeah, it's just. Man. I mean, and then there are justifications of that lasso. Like it. Okay, I know it may be proven that it's super elastic and it's a magic thing. It just looks silly though. It's like Spider-Man swinging through the sky without buildings. Like, what's he's lit? Oh, I'm latching onto a cloud and stuff. You always have.
Can't she fly though? So why is she doing that? Like, I mean, it didn't make sense.
She could fly, yes, but it also is way too long. Like she's just flying everywhere at the end of the film. And then Cheetah Cheetah was a disappointment.
Yeah.
Cheetah should have been a much stronger villain, much stronger focus. And then, I just take everything back. Even the simplest Aladdin's not even an official Disney movie, a generic Aladdin movie is not going to have, I just take it back. Everything's resolved. We're all good here. End of the movie.
Totally. 2 hours. That's all we come up with. That's how it got resolved. I get it.
Well, then you get dumbasses like Campia saying that Henry Cavill's too old to play Superman.
Aladdin.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I know. That guy. The camper. You need to do a video on that, Max. You need to beat that up.
Impregnated people on the internet by building his PC is too old. No. there's lady influencers that are like, I think I'm pregnant. I watched him build a PC. Yeah, no. He's doing just fine. Cavill is more popular than ever. That's like saying Hugh Jackman was too old to play Logan, to continue Wolverine. No, he's more popular now than ever with the Witcher series.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's a much more physical role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's something cool about Cavill. I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but he's really into bodybuilding. Okay. Yeah. So he's like friends with Phil, who was Mr. Olympia back in the day. He actually landed a supplement contract with Muscle Tech. So, I mean, they wouldn't just give that to him if, he was just, if he was in Campia's shape, So, there's a lot to be said about, Cavill taking care of himself. And
I'm going to make a video, Campia, you're too old. Movie talk, move on.
Totally, man. Totally.
Yeah,
spun that one on him.
Someone send that movie clip. Someone send me that clip to his show because I didn't actually see that live. I stopped watching Campia. I've progressed. I've unsub to a few people instead of just complaining about them constantly, and then I don't watch Campia that much anymore.
Actually, instead of Campia, I don't watch. He puts out way too much to follow, but I like to keep my tabs at least see what he's talking about. I'm like, okay, this is some movie news.
Everyone wants Chubby. Chubby must be a busy guy. He's also healthy. He's doing his own bodybuilding. We need more Chubby Teddy on the streets.
Thanks, guys. It's nice to be with you guys. Vlad is awesome, by the way. Yes. Very cool.
Vlad is awesome. He's one of the best dudes on the internet. Sir Nerd a lot. Not a popular opinion, but I'd like Zach to move on. WB just seems like a bad spouse. And why should he stay with them? Listen.
You know what? Good point, Sir Nerd a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's what we got to do. We got to make the Snyder Cut and Army of the Dead successful. So he's going to be the most sought after director for a streaming project. They're going to be begging him to stay if both Snyder Cut and Army of the Dead blow up, because I didn't even know that he already has another spinoff, another movie in that universe already done.
Right.
Like the prequel. Right. I'm like, really? They have another they finished filming the prequel to Army of the Dead. I'm like, what? That completely blew me away. I'm like, I didn't know about all this. And the only reason Netflix has it is what Warner Brothers did to him. That was a Warner Brothers project first. Yeah. And let me see what else is happening in the chat here. Zeno says the Snyder Cut is just no, it's not. It's not. Yeah. Listen, you're just like Campia. Oh, what's the difference? Darkseid. Darkseid is not just the director's cut. That's a whole villain.
Yeah.
They're giving him. He gave him more money to make this. That's why it doesn't make sense. Someone's like, cul-de-sac. It doesn't go anywhere. Well, what's the point of multiverse? And why would you give him all these millions to finish and complete this extra stuff?
Affleck is back in the Flash movie. Why would you cut off the legs of something that? Why wouldn't you say we have to see how it goes? Thank goodness. Why wouldn't you be a president for all your fans, even if you're not a fan of this particular project, and say, let's see the reception of it. Let's see how it goes. That is completely a failure.
Have a little faith in your artists. You know what I mean?
Right. Totally. Or even if you don't say, I'm so happy that Zach got to complete his vision. No, this dipshit it's a cul-de-sac.
He's salty. That's like, dude.
DC,
right. Just the
DC
Totally.
movies are becoming just like the comics. They're going to pigeonhole themselves to just being able to do Batman, and then people are going to get tired of that one thing working and nothing else having its own life.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, stop
That's
denying
true.
the Snyderverse. Let me give a revealing moment to you, Hamada. You don't really have much of a choice. What else are you going to
That's
do?
it.
You're going to reboot with the new Batman, Superman, and just to get the Justice League back, just to go square one again. Marvel was focusing on secondary characters.
Yeah.
Now is the time for Justice League 2 when there's no
Totally.
Avengers to go against it.
Nobody's
what-
going to
you know
have
what,
the
that's a
patience
good
for another
point.
reset.
That's a good
I
point.
mean, I don't
Also, you got
why
to
we're
consider
still-
time. You got to consider time. You know, they've
can't
got something right
anything
now
go-
that they got to make.
Aquaman
Yeah,
2 still wasn't happening yet.
right.
And then you were
Right.
going to say, "Oh, we might not let if the Snyder Cut's successful, it just doesn't go anywhere." Why would you say that? Why
Totally.
would you say that?
Look,
I
look
would
at the
even-
reception of Wonder Woman 84, and they're like, "Oh, fast track Wonder Woman 3."
I
Yippee.
said, I
Mhm.
said everyone laughed at me when
Totally.
I think I was on Enosh's stream. Everyone laughed at me. I'm like, this is like a Ryan Johnson type of announcement. It's more likely to happen than Ryan Johnson's trilogy, but it costs them nothing to make this announcement, and
Yeah.
it really just
Mhm.
depends on Patty's next project. If her next project is a bomb, and I'm not even talking about to get into the theater releasing, if Cleopatra, if they get like the dailies and they're like, oh, this isn't very good, her on her own, her big epic movie, Cleopatra, and it's just not working, the industry's already going to know. Just like Josh Trank, everyone already
Mhm.
knew, but way before Fantastic. Well, they hijacked his film too, but everyone
Right.
already in the industry already knew. So it was a garbage announcement just to get more HBO Max subs, and I'm
Yep.
for that too. But it was just to show, because she herself said, "I don't know if I'm going to even do Wonder Woman
Yeah.
3 a while ago when the Snyder Cut became official." That was what she was talking about. I don't know if I'm going to come back for Wonder Woman 3. That was her comments.
Yeah. She did quote that.
Definitely control. Let me see. I'm back here. No, it's not. Zeno, it's not. It's not. I know already highlighted that, but it's not. It's completely. Yes, there are
It's
scenes that are going to be a 4-hour film to a 2-hour film.
We're not
Yeah.
talking the Star Wars special edition here, dude.
I mean,
Right.
special
A little bit
Right.
different.
Right.
Completely different battles, a different villain.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think he wants to. You know, he wants to complete his vision. He had everything worked out. Like he already knew where he was going to go. This is like, if you imagine if you were an artist and you had the whole plan worked out, and then they just got stopped cold. Yeah, you would want to finish it. I mean, he already knows what he's going to do. It's not like, Patty Jenkins, and I'm not throwing heat on her, but she was more worried about her payday than actually delivering on a project. That was the talk. She really, hey, capitalism, go ahead, right ahead. She really capitalized. That was the major talk about Wonder Woman 2 when Wonder Woman 1 blew up. Months and months and months. No, I'm not signing on for 2 yet. I want a big payday. And she held out, which go right ahead. But that was the focus, obviously. I mean, the quality project's not there.
That's true. That's true.
So,
and that's
remember all that? It
brought
was
up
all
Max.
over. So that was what she was.
You got to remember. You got to remember, man. Snyder's not getting paid for this now. Like, this is something he's just doing because he wants to make the fans happy. He's very confident in his product. You know.
Well,
Patty, remember all the delays we had with that thing? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
My
it's a
ADD
game
kinda went
changer.
somewhere else.
No other. I also think after this, you're going to see more direct. I think the industry should go more towards multiple cuts, exclusive for theaters, exclusive for IMAX, a streaming cut. I said that's the solution. If you could keep your artistic vision in there, but this is where I, again, Zeno, completely disagree with you. Director's cuts don't usually mean anything when it's in marketing. Oh, buy the director's cut, the R-rated cut. Zack Snyder's cut, there's a lot different. There's a lot there. There's a lot of meat there. It is a whole different experience.
Yeah, we're not talking about Max Rebo getting cut out. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different.
Dude, I wish Jarbo's here on this one. talking about Blade Runner, because Jarbo, if you brought this up to Jarbo with Blade Runner, you'd explain it really well.
Well, especially when DVD was in its infancy, the industry just went 3D. Put 3D on it. Put director's cut when there's a minute extra to sell an extra DVD. You know, that's where it went wrong. But there are really good director's cuts out there. Who's the other one that does director's cuts? Ridley Scott. Like, yeah,
Ridley
you did mention
Scott.
The Lord of the Rings movies. I mean,
Peter Jackson.
Definitely, Brian. Definitely, man.
Like, that's a whole nother movie. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm sorry, Brian. What'd you say?
Oh, I said those Lord of the Rings movies were like whole other movies. I mean, they added an extra hour to each one. I was like, whoa.
Oh
yeah. I would compare the Snyder cuts to his cuts of movies, especially his superhero films, to Lord of the Rings. That much content, that much that it adds to the story. I don't know what I don't know if Angus is a huge Snyder cut fan, though. Honestly, I know you're.
Yeah, no, So for me, like, to answer Zeno, we've seen this. 300 was his vision. You know, with Frank Miller in the works as well. Watchmen has a director's cut, which is so much more. It's something you got to devote time to watch. It's over 3 hours long.
Oh yeah.
And then you got I don't know about Man of Steel if there's a director's cut or not, but you got the ultimate cut of BVS where you watch the theatrical cut, and that Rotten Tomatoes score, the plot holes make sense. But then you see the ultimate cut, and it's like there's almost nothing wrong with it. You can not like the tone, you can think it, you know, like the prequels, you can just not like the style. But plot hole wise, it's a lot of things are taken care of with that ultimate cut. That extra 30 minutes or an hour to that movie really makes a difference. And so you get a full cut of this movie from the guy's pure direction, and not having it meddle with the second director who's a total different style and delivery. It's going to be different. Well, I don't know, because seeing the first trailer for Justice League Snyder Cut, I'm like, it just looks like they added more to a bad movie. I hated Justice League. And so, like, I'm not sold. When Rookie did a stream, we watched Lethal Lightning. He's a big Snyder Cut guy, and I'm like, I don't see the appeal to this trailer, but I'm hopeful. And if there was a Rian Johnson director's cut, if it turned out that there was a whole bunch of meddling with Rian Johnson's Last Jedi, I would support director's cut, because I like to see less corporate interference with the art of film as much as possible. I get that they're funding it and stuff, so they have a say. But that's the biggest thing that is important about this for fans is artistic vision.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, Zeno's here again with the. I was actually thinking about reacting to an EVS video where he's called
Cyborg.
an idiot. Yeah, I didn't watch it yet.
I think he's got 2 or 3 of them now, man.
So Ray Fisher. EVS. Well, Jeff Johns is his boy. He also doesn't like, you know, listen, I honestly think, and I'm not going into that war campaign Comicsgate talk, Angus. I don't care anymore. I lost interest when, you know, I just lost interest. I was gonna buy the whole Cyber Frog. I was gonna get all of that. I'm like, I don't care anymore. But I will tell you what, I honestly believe EVS and Jeff Johns are very capable of bad behavior in the workplace. So I kind of believe Ray. I don't like, even though I'm upset with Hamada, I'll never work with him again. If he does stay president, that makes it really odd for Cyborg, because I want to see. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of Cyborg either, but even what I saw in Justice League, I was intrigued. I liked his performance. I think he is a very capable actor, Ray Fisher, regardless of what you think of him. But he's why is he a mental case? If he does have something, it gets to me too. Even being a Ray Fisher supporter and a Snyder Cut supporter, I'm like, come on. Every time there's anything positive to talk about, he does come out with some other thing. Yeah. So it does get frustrating in that point. I still support him. I still. It's hard to believe anyone on the internet, honestly. So I don't really say I completely believe anyone, but
take this with a grain of salt.
Points. I think it was a toxic environment on that set. I don't know. Angus, feel free to speak your mind because Zeno likes to hear differing opinion.
Well, I'll say this: I didn't hear women that were raped by Harvey Weinstein cry as much as Ray Fisher.
Don't say that word again.
I pulled a joke, bro. But yeah, that case, which had a conviction in criminal court, did not get this kind of PR for victims, and that's why I'm like, I can go along with the Kryborg stuff and the when I first heard about this, I'm like, this sounds like some Jussie Smollett stuff.
I
mean, move the hell on.
Isn't that so? No, I mean, I honestly think listen, some behavior on the internet is bad behavior. I honestly don't think it has a place in the workplace. I just don't know. I don't know. I still support him. I will cover it because it's the responsible thing to do. But it is getting to a point like I don't like what Hamada did to him either. If he did lie, do you think he lied though, Angus? Do you think who do you believe in that scenario? Do you know what I'm talking about? That interview where Warner Brothers and that they tried to do a hit piece on Ray saying he's not
there was a hit piece, and then they say he wasn't cooperating, but then he's like, "Oh, actually, it's because y'all had someone in the room or the stream or the interview that I wasn't okay with, like peeking in." That sounds weird, and so then everything kind of like went back, and it seems in Ray's favor.
Do you actually think though that Hamada said, "Okay, do what you're going to do, but leave Jeff Johns out of it"? Do you think that conversation took place and then he lied about it? That's the big thing.
It would make sense, man. There's cronyism in every industry, especially with high up. So I wouldn't put it past them. Hollywood's dirty all across the board. But Edwin Acevedo, what's up, the ace? He makes a good point that like no one's coming forward. All you guys like Grace Randolph, tarnishing or going after Johns, but you're not seeing anyone in the industry being like, "Yeah, I work with Jeff Johns was so awful." Like you're not hearing it. You're not hearing it from Stargirl that he's running. So that's why, like, I'm not seeing a trend with this guy.
I saw something amazing on Akanta's Twitter. That is beautiful. Grace Randolph.
I would love the Grace Randolph cut. Hell yeah.
Look at he's in there. He's like, and then he's like, "That's a good one. That's a good."
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Oh, dude, yeah. I got blocked by Grace for a meme.
Oh, really?
What was the meme?
She deleted a tweet about the Mandalorian Pedro Pascal thing.
Yeah.
So there's a meme of Baby Yoda holding a gun, like when he's like looking with the Mando shooting at something. And so I put her head there with the tweet. I said, "Disney said delete the tweet, Grace." And then I see I'm blocked. But I'm like, really?
Awesome.
You can't just take it?
Xena says all this drama because someone yelled at Fisher on. You don't know that's all. Imagine if Cruz was protecting the project and doing what the insurance company and everyone needed to do. He's like, our industry supports lots of jobs. We're not gonna. I completely agree. If it's unjust, if he was maybe you don't agree that he said the F word, but other than that, he was completely on point. Tom Cruise, completely. It's not like he's mocking someone or mocking another, like Jeff Johns and Joss mocked Snyder's vision after the whole team. You go into the team that's been working on this forever, and then you completely. It was work related. The blowout. It was not like who was on Terminator. Christian Bale. Come on, it's not the same scenario. It's not. Regardless of how you feel.
The accusation of Johns is that
protecting his staff. That's all.
Right. Yeah. The argument is that he was making threats, vague threats about like, "I'm going to ruin your career, Fisher," which I have not seen substantiated. If I see proof, then I'll be like, okay, I was wrong on this whole case. But I'm not seeing it. John's answering iffy. He's on. He's the co-writer, I think, of 84 with Patty Jenkins, and a lot of people will be like, "Aha, it's John's." I think there's a clear divide between John's vision of comics versus Zack Snyder. But Patty is complete control of Wonder Woman. apparently Warner Brothers like, we don't like this, and it's like, well, your hands are tied because Patty controls Wonder Woman. So
Right.
end all be all is Patty Jenkins, and she threw out Snyder people making this movie.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman worked because Snyder was involved.
Yeah, it's egos. Like, she really took all the praise from Wonder Woman, which she deserved. But there was also a template. The actress was already hired for you. It fit within a universe, and then you're more worried about a payday, which fine, capitalize on it, but you better deliver. If you get all it, and I don't. Here's another conversation to be had. We should be harder on these movies. We absolutely should. One project for how many years Patty Jenkins worked on? She got that big payday, taking it away from another potential director. You better get it right. I'm going to do my thing my way. Well, then and listen, even if some liked it, that I'm happy for you if you like Wonder Woman 84. It's just like a comedian. If it doesn't land for the general public, it doesn't work. No matter how much, remember the Ryan Johnson? I don't care how many times you try to say it works. It's logically, it makes sense. If a joke doesn't land and you have to describe the joke, it doesn't work. It doesn't. If it doesn't land with the public, it doesn't land. And these are franchise films. You have an existing property. It's not all you. You have something to work with. You have an opportunity. She did great with Wonder Woman, the first movie. She owes something. I'm sorry. This was one project in how many years?
Let me ask you guys this.
It's not that. It's very hard to get a film together. But come on, is this the best we could do? And then just applaud mediocrity? No. I'm not a hater anymore. I'm not a hater, but I can't applaud mediocrity. I can't see of all the goodwill, all the money, all the opportunity that she had to fail this hard. No, I'm sorry.
Especially when it's comics. It's not like she had to write from scratch a story. You're building from something established. There's so many stories. You can take 20 threads from different comics and make a concise story. What Spider-Man Raimi trilogy did was, it took all these threads of all these different eras. Like if you read the Ultimate Spider-Man starting like 99 or 2000, you can see it probably was being written, or there's a convergent evolution of that character that you see in the movies. So it doesn't make sense to have a bad comic movie with a well-sustained comic hero or villain.
Well, here's Edwin with an interesting comment. Edwin S. Acevedo. Reputation of comics is as clean as they come. I don't know about that, but I don't know.
But can what he produce reach a general audience? That's the big question.
In a movie,
in film form, and to this point, he has not. So that's where I'm like, okay, I don't understand why you guys are defending failure. You know what I mean? It seems like the failure of DC kind of needs to be put on somebody. And who's the one that's been pushing behind the scenes for all this crap?
His comments were referring to like if he was up to shady stuff.
I get that, but I argue to that it doesn't matter. It matters the results. Like,
there's no secrets in the comics industry. I don't know if I believe that. If there was dirt on him, it would be out. Maybe that's part's true. But I think there's lots of secrets in the comic industry. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
it's probably just as crooked as Hollywood is. You know what I mean? Like,
did Zach pick Patty? I'm trying to remember. Was he the one that recommended Patty do Wonder Woman for the first one?
That was what's been said, I believe. Yeah.
I don't know that part. I can't remember. I think it was him. Did he also get James Wan on board? I can't remember. Or was that?
What's that?
Did he hire James Wan too? I can't remember.
I think that was him too. Yeah, because I think it was like the idea was they would get James Wan to do Aquaman, Patty, of course, to do Wonder Woman. And then remember, Rick Famuyiwa was supposed to do the Flash movie, and that was
he's over at Star Wars now.
Flashpoint movie. Now he's at Star Wars, and what's so sad is he's killing it with the Mandalorian. Those episodes, at least I thought, were cool.
Every episode of Famuyiwa, I'm like, dude, this guy needs to be.
Why are they talking about him getting a full feature film?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'd rather see
Diversity.
that
Come on,
than
Disney.
Taka Waikiki. Totally. He's a black guy. Get him. You know.
Yeah.
That's what
He's like, get the black.
Don't be
Get
so
him.
blunt.
Get on the film.
You know. I mean, you friend zone Finn and let Ray get the creepy goth kid. You know, like give Famiyuma a chance. You know, if you guys are all about diversity, sorry to be so blunt, but it's just so irritating, man.
No, I know. He deserves him. Like who's the guy that directed an episode this season?
Rodriguez.
Like I preferred
He did Boba Fett.
Oh yeah,
he's just on point. His episodes were amazing.
Dude,
let me see.
I would love to see his sequel to Predators, man. I can't believe they like scrapped that.
Yeah. Edwin Acevedo,
Anyway.
she got rid of Zach's stunt team and VFX crew and replaced them with her own people. Yeah, and that's
There
the
you go.
And
Showed.
it showed.
Yep.
Mannequin arms.
Yep.
I'm going to skip the topic on this, but it's the whole writer-director syndrome in Hollywood where they're like, oh, I could do it all myself. No, writers deserve jobs too. Very few people could do the writer-director and be successful and consistent. It's the whole writer-director problem. Oh, I'm going to get my production company. It's all about money. She had her opportunity. She wants to prop up her production company so then she can be making big deals and stuff like that. If Wonder Woman 84, here's the really thing what would have happened. If Wonder Woman 84 would have hit it out of the park, you wouldn't have got the Wonder Woman 3 announcement. She would be taking meetings with all types of different companies like, oh, I'm bringing my production crew, my VFX. They all want to be like JJ or like I have my VFX, my own production company. That's why she didn't want to use Zach's.
I got a bad reboot.
You failed. She wanted to start her era of production and make her all her contracts, bring her people. It's a disease in Hollywood. Not everyone can do it. Just look at Rian Johnson.
And that's why movies suck.
That's why they suck.
Dude, I'm just gonna say, man.
I mean,
it's like,
I'm getting to the point where I don't think all movies should be one director.
Yeah,
I think there should be co-directors of some of these epic movies.
If all these big movies are made by the same people, it boggles my mind. Like it'd be like every movie coming out that year is directed by the same guy.
Yeah,
you know, it devolves into what you see in the Idiocracy ass. That's all
they need to release the ass cut. That's
right.
I mean, there's a syndrome in Hollywood, the writer-director, and how they are ruining lots of these big franchise films, trying to prop themselves up to make money on their, the JJ. I have a production company. I have my own VFX. They all want their own, and then it's at cost of the product.
I blame George Lucas. It's all his fault.
It's a good point.
He started it with Lucasfilm, man.
He did.
Yeah,
he
really
did. He did.
I was going to say Lucasfilm. I was going to say with which I love the prequel. They set a trend for Hollywood. So you got Lord of the Rings. I'm sure some other things I'm thinking at the moment. The MCU, of course, but the MCU is like when I saw Infinity War, saw it 4 times in theaters. But I'm like, this is the death of theaters. I didn't foresee Corona, but accelerating that. But yeah, this we're getting into like a Middle Ages kind of dip in anything mentally challenging to people. So like I love The Mandalorian, but it's cookie cutter kind of storytelling for the most part, besides like the twist with the saga. So we're in this whole consumerism infecting art, and that's why it might be a good thing theaters crash. So then we get like Netflix is paying big bucks to get good directors.
I love my boy Enosh on the lounge. He's all about movie theaters experience. I also don't want to. I also don't want to go the route of making excuses for them or the industry because movies are not progressing.
No, it's an evolution. If you don't evolve, you get left behind. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
No, it's not even that. It's just that there hasn't been really good product out. Every once in a while, pops these franchise films, just like Wonder Woman. You have an existing property. You have absolute opportunity. And let's be real, these superhero films only have to be good. They don't have to be amazing to make $1 billion. They only have to be good. For any other project out there, any other property, any other new film or new franchise, you have to be amazing to get to the $1 billion.
I got to put in that work. You know?
For superhero films, you have an established fan base. You have an existing property to prop yourself onto something else. This isn't Patty Jenkins made Wonder Woman. You know, she attached. The films are not good. The product is not good. Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner, you build it, they will come. If you make good movies, they will come. Even if there is a streaming component where it's released the same day. If the product is good enough, people will go see it in IMAX.
Yeah.
It's not competition is not a bad thing for the consumer. And that if I watched Wonder Woman 84 and it was amazing, I would tell my wife, I want to see this in IMAX. Let's go, you know, and it would be making records. It would be going, and it would just keep playing through the pandemic because there's nothing else to play. It would make consistent money for a long time. It just, the product is not good and it's not going anywhere. And we're getting excuses from the directors and the industry.
I don't know. With the quality of television production, the way it is, and with the captive audience, no pun intended, that they've had with the lockdowns and stuff. I mean, if you don't think that TV is going to start, not TV, but streaming television show or long form storytelling like that isn't going to go anywhere or, you know, anytime soon, I think you got another thing coming. Like that's the new form of movie. Like
it's archaic. Or at the very least, have another plan than just this is my art, this is my film, and that's it. Because different cuts is provided an enhanced experience. You don't have to sacrifice your artistic vision if you think ahead. And Snyder always had, even if he didn't get his movie taken away from him, he always added different. He always has added director's cuts, even like you were saying, Peter Jackson. This is the way to go. You have to think about where this product, this film, is going to be seen. Different ideas. We need more ideas, not less, and not archaic business styles. I don't know how, you know, have a streaming. I would immediately say have a stream. If Wonder Woman 84 was let's have an HBO Max cut and then have an expanded with added scenes for IMAX at the theater. That would be amazing. And that, you know, I don't see how that's not instant success. I just don't see it. Why aren't these ideas searched around?
I feel like I'm Captain Kirk in Star Trek 6 when the Klingons' moon blew up and Spock's trying to say, well, we have to save them. And I'm like, he's like, well, let them die.
Let them die. Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like an a-hole here, but like, I mean, seriously, I understand where Yanosh's coming from. He doesn't want to see the industry die. I don't want to see people out of jobs, you know, but at the end of the day,
there's just too many excuses though for bad product.
Yes.
Really.
And it's like, I've only seen 5 movies in the last 6-7 years in the theaters, and 3 of them were Star Wars movies. Like the other 2 were comic book, the Joker and something else. I don't remember, but you know, I don't know, man. And every time it costs too much, you know, people suck, you know, I mean, everyone's on their phones talking. I mean, the theater experience is not what it used to be, you know, and they never up their game. And and I'm like, I'm sorry. And I know we're friends and everybody, but I just don't see it, man. I feel the same way about brick and mortar stores. Like, I mean, I think Walmart will still be around, but your little mom and pop specialty store is not going to be around, you know, unless they convert to internet.
Instead of arguing about the next business model, embrace it and do something different. Like, it's like Blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly. You will turn into Blockbuster if you keep going.
These are jobs, brick and mortar. Blockbuster, instead they try to embrace it too late. You got to embrace it now and before it's too late. You got to do something different. Zeno here says there is zero evidence history of Jeff Johns being a bad guy. So how can you say I don't know about that? Maybe it's my bias knowing knowing,
No,
knowing
I don't care about his
There-
behavior.
there
I'm
is-
talking about his product. His product sucks. It's like, are you
Yeah.
going to keep paying the guy that keeps screwing up your burgers? Like, McDonald's would have fired that guy. Like, I just don't get it, man. Like,
Yeah.
you can't keep the drive-through times down. Get out.
Yeah, totally.
Why do we reward mediocrity, Max? You said it.
Well, I mean, I think he's saying
He
I don't
did.
have
He
I don't
did.
have proof to think that
Edwin, you're
John's
right.
a bad guy.
Well, yeah,
or
but he's
they
standing
rumors
by
like that.
mediocre product, though. That's where I'm at.
He's
Like,
just not good with the movies. His movies
Yeah,
are
you're
awful.
just- I mean, your shows might be okay, but your movies suck. Like,
And even the shows suck, in my
Yeah.
opinion. There's just
So, I mean-
Dawson's Creek with heroes in cosplay.
I do like
Sorry.
the shows. I like Stargirl
Oh.
and I like Titans.
Sorry, Max.
I have to check out
Right?
Titans.
No,
I haven't
no,
seen-
you
I haven't
don't-
seen,
You think
Star
I'm
Wars yet.
crazy? Stargirl's a good show.
Oh man.
It's fun.
All right.
It's better than Wonder Woman 84.
That's true. There you go, man.
Yeah, it's funny. Done to
You're
theater
out of your
experience.
opinion, though, buddy.
I went to go see Midnight Sky, George Clooney movie, and
Uh-huh.
I was the only one in the theater to see it. And there's like almost no one going to the theater. It was Christmas Eve though, so take that into account. But it was just like, yeah, this is not going to be around another year or two.
Yeah, theaters are dead. Like, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
hate to say it. Unless you put like moving seats in and give me a VR headset with the, to where I
don't
can
even-
look around and fully immerse myself in the movie. I don't care, man.
I think it's really as
Not even
simple as
draft out.
delivering
Yeah, it's 2020, man, or 2021.
That's
It's
all
the
you need.
future.
The only thing they'll save theaters is holding holding IPs hostage, like Universal was trying to do with AMC before this pandemic.
Oh man.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna wait 3 years to watch Black Widow, man.
I'm excited for Black Widow still.
I am
Yeah.
too, but if they ever show it, like,
If they
I
ever
mean,
show it- that's the thing. This is losing my excitement, just like Wonder Woman 84, and that's another thing that hurt Wonder Woman 84 was just the delays. The delays. It was
Three
like, I
times.
don't care anymore.
They were supposed to go
Care
against
anymore.
Star Wars. They were going to put Wonder Woman by herself versus the
Right.
franchise of Star Wars finale to the
I
Skywalker
remember
saga.
that.
well, have a little confidence in your product. You know what I
I
mean?
remember
Oh, we're
that.
too scared to put it up against Star Wars. It's like,
kind of new. I think
that's fucking shit.
I think this is also half the reason the Snyder Cut got to go ahead because they knew Wonder Woman 84 was. And that's also the reason that it debuted on. Like, they wanted to project extreme confidence. All our movies are going to be on HBO Max for the next year. I think some of those are actually going to go to theater only now that they're fighting. Like Denis
Mhm.
Villeneuve and everything. And then Godzilla versus Kong made a deal, I think, recently.
But they'll get to theaters, but I'm telling you, nobody's gonna go.
Mhm.
People are so scared, especially the ones that live in these major cities that have been locked down. I mean, they ain't going to the theaters.
Yeah, all major cities got like the hardest lockdowns,
Yeah.
and that's where like the cinema scores come from.
Well, I have news for everyone. I keep telling people if HBO Max did not do this, you wouldn't be watching Wonder Woman 84 in the theater. They needed an added benefit. So it actually is helping theaters right now by actually having a product in the theaters. Because if it was only theaters, they wouldn't, and it would not get that money, and they
Oh,
would have
no.
hold it back till another year.
Yeah.
Whereas
And it would have ruined
the
future
little
projects.
money they are getting right now, people are have jobs right now by them doing this day and date and having both. And then you don't have to go to the theater to see it. You can if you want to. It's the best. It's the best for everybody.
I think
Yeah,
it was
like Firewater
Baldwin-
says, they're going the way of video arcades. Okay, remember arcades, guys?
Yeah.
And then they came out with that home video game
That's
system,
awesome.
and we never went back.
Mhm.
Yep. That's true, man.
Well, the
That's
arcade
true.
should have innovated. They should have did the
Yeah.
better product. It's
Yeah.
the
Yes.
same, old-
Yeah.
same thing. I
That's
don't
true.
argue. I listen. I want everyone to have
Good
a job.
illustration, Brian.
I want movie theaters, and I would love rental stores too to still exist. I still
Oh,
have
yeah.
no few, but you gotta
Oh,
be
yeah.
innovative. The product's gonna be good. It's
Yeah.
just
Mm-hmm.
you can't just deliver the same thing. You got to have better stuff. I still think James Cameron might have something up his sleeve.
I
and
think
that
you're right.
I never count
I
out
agree.
Cameron.
No,
I do hope Avatar does well. I love the first Avatar. I know everyone cries about
that's
it, but
cool.
I mean, yes, it's similar to Fern Gully, but a lot of movies are very similar to
It
everything
totally
else.
is.
'84. It's like
Yeah, so is Pocahontas. So I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah,
What the hell?
that's true.
Avatar is for the visual experience. It's a simple story because
That's
they're
the
wowing
last-
you with the technology.
we still
Yeah.
haven't
Dances with
progressed
Wolves.
past that. Look at when Avatar came out. No one's really trying to push that level of special effects. Even Marvel movies don't push that special effects. They only go so far. They just do Thanos and that's it. All the other CG is cookie cutter.
Give me the immersive experience. I want the holodeck. I want to be able to go in and actually immerse myself in the film. Be there, see the steam, smell the crowd.
I actually think
that'd be awesome.
Not to dish on Marvel, but I think they're part of the problem to see how successful it can be with just generic CGI and just gags. Because when you actually get to the action part, a lot of the stuff is not the best looking. I mean, I like Captain America the most because it was more choreography and stuff. But the actual CG fights and everything, it's stale. It's not pushing.
Yeah.
We're still not past Avatar. Actually, we've regressed, taking it back. Even like the first Pacific Rim. I love that. The special effects were amazing.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's funny you said that about fights because there's this guy I follow. His name's Brock on Twitter, and he shared the clip from Spider-Man 3 where Harry and Peter fight, and he's like, doing the "ooh, you're gonna cry" that whole sequence, and it's like, holy shit, this was a really good fight. It's underrated because it's people argue it's a bad movie, but it's like, man, they really went all out with that stunt work on that movie. Despite the CG stuff with Sandman and Venom at the end, but. It's like, wow, we're missing that. Besides Captain America and maybe certain sequences in like The Boys, we're not really getting actual physical fights and stuff that they just accentuate with the CGI. It's just, let's rely on CGI.
Yeah. When you really get to the nuts and bolts of these films, there's not much there. Joey Herrera asks, have I seen Cobra Kai yet? No. I started to watch Tenet. I got halfway through. I'm confused.
Watch it. I'll send you a video. Explain it. It's awesome.
I'm not going to finish it later after I'm streaming. I'm going to finish. My wife checked out. She's like, I'm out. She's like, I don't care anymore. I'm out. She's like, eh.
My wife was.
Do people actually understand Christopher Nolan films? Or do they act like they do to be the smart guy? Oh, yeah.
I think it's a little bit of both. It's like,
yeah.
I mean,
but you're just like,
wow, that was amazing the first time through. I'm like, no, you don't get it yet.
I like the artistic angle he was going for there, using the shadow.
Christopher Nolan know exactly what he's talking about. Do you think he gets the logic all the time, or do you think he's kind of like,
Yeah, no one's awesome. Tenet was amazing. I love the pincer idea of time travel and stuff. Like, you never seen something like that with time travel. It's pretty cool. It is confusing as hell. I had to watch a video to fully understand the plot. But once I saw, I'm like, oh crap! Now I got to rewatch it because it's even better than like what I was taking.
There's a big chunk in there though that's not always makes logic sense, even with the way he goes. But people just accept it to seem like the smart guy in the room. Oh, that was mind blowing. Like, he's very talented and he comes up with some amazing ideas. But everything's not always. It doesn't always fit in there, and sometimes. The endings are, I think it's vague intentionally to, so you can't find the plot holes. Like, I'm still trying to figure this thing out. I'm like, I need a break. I actually prefer to watch Nolan films at home where I'm like, I did an hour of this. I'm going to tap out.
Put subtitles on.
Well, that's kind of how it was when I saw Wonder Woman 84. When I got to the Smithsonian scene, I took a nap. And then when I got up, I finished the movie. I was like, okay, cool. No,
I got 30 minutes in, and then I started watching again. I got about an hour in, and I'm like, wait, what happened? So I rewound all the way back to where I restarted, and I'm like, oh no, it really went that way. This is just mind-bogglingly bad.
Yeah, once they got to the stone, I become the wishing stone. I was like, this is it. I'm like, damn, this is it. This is all it is. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Zeno, ever since Ray, because I don't, I have my questions. I'm not going to say I believe him but I also have questions that I'll
Well, I
say.
think we're looking for reasons as to why these movies haven't been very good. You know what I mean? So it's like any kind of explanation we can get at this point would be very helpful. If it was like toxicity on the set, I can buy that.
Yeah.
If everyone's complaining about it, then 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. So it's like, what the hell, man? I'm more willing to give them a benefit of the doubt because I've seen what Hollywood's done over the years.
Well, there's also the argument too. If he was a woman, he'd get also ultimate. Everyone would be listening, but because he's a man, there is that double standard, and people call him a crybaby. I mean, that's wrong in itself. Like if it
because it's not manly to complain about abuse.
You wouldn't have this uphill battle. People would be listening more. And something people forget though.
I've quit jobs for worse or for less. You know what I mean? Like, dude, treat me like crap. I know where the door's at. I see this argument
before. Like people say, "Oh, Gal took care of it at the time." He tried to, and they ignored him and had a meeting when he tried to go the proper route. They had a meeting with him with Jeff Johns to intervene with going through HR and stuff. So he did try to do. They say, "Oh, Gal handled it at that time. Look at what she did. Why can't Ray do that?" He did try.
Yeah, so he went to Jeff Johns, and Jeff Johns told him, "Hey, if you don't shut up, I'm going to ruin your career."
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well then, I guess I'll have to take it another route then.
Right, but people forget that. They're like, "Well, what you did? Why did you?"
What would you do if somebody said that to you, man?
Oh, fire water.
That's fighting words.
Oh, nice.
Man.
He's awesome.
Yeah. Fire
water's cool.
I thought you disappeared.
Fire water. That guy's awesome.
For sure.
He retreats to parts unknown, and then he comes down from, and he lays knowledge on us, and then goes back.
Yeah, I know. It's
the mystery of Firewater, man.
Yeah, he's like Dungeon Master.
Yeah, Firestarter's gonna be on here.
Oh, Goldman, I would take Rise of Skywalker 10 times over.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you, Angus.
I just genuinely like Rise of Skywalker for all the.
Hey, Firestarter.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's been a while. Man? How you been?
I was like, man, Firestarter took the social dilemma too seriously, and he bounced.
yeah, pretty much. I bounced for not quite a month. I said I was going to come back in the new year, and it's the new year. So
he took the movie's advice and got off of social media.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was a lot of. You know what it is? The day I choose to quit, or like a week before, then all that stuff with the Fandom Menace happens, and it's hysterical. I think Angus, right? That's you, Black Angus. Yeah, I think you would agree with me on that. They're kind of full of shit.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, that Luke shows up for 10 minutes, which was great.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I guess they're thinning the herd in terms of the hashtag people who are worthy of it, I guess. You got your staunch hardcore, without respect, we reject. And then you got people like, we saw Luke. It's all good now.
I can see that argument, but I think me being a minister, my whole thing joining was like with Solo. The reason to want it to bomb wasn't about if it had quality or not. I was just making a statement, and then that we made that statement. The general fan made the statement, and Kathleen still got her job. So it's like, all right, so where's Star Wars going after this? Is it getting better? We could already got Rise of Skywalker, but now you got The Mandalorian and all these new shows. I think it's getting better. I think there is some sort of cultural shift in Lucasfilm. I don't know about Kathleen getting booed at all. I don't buy into that emotional stuff. But
yeah, because I remember
I think the big argument in the fandom menace right now is if you like the show, you're not menace. And it's like I thought we wanted Star Wars to be better and less political or less divisive politically.
I think a lot of people just want to dunk on people on Twitter, man.
That's it.
Do I have a point there? I mean, not everyone.
Yeah, no, I've been in Twitter fights about this, about like it's getting better, or if you just are staunch against Disney, then why are you still talking about it? Why are you still watching it?
Yeah, you're not a fan of Lucas. You're a fan of the old stuff. That's okay. Yeah.
40 years with the universe, but you're not going to get clout for tweeting about that. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I call it out, and people think I'm not menace for calling that out, or like, oh, you're going against.
I didn't
people
know you
having
were
an
Phantom
opinion.
Menace. I thought you were. Never mind.
No, yeah,
I had you wrong then. Okay.
I'm my own banner carrier.
That's fair.
No, he gives them constructive criticism, and that's why he's kind of been ousted a little bit from them.
Oh yeah, they don't want to hear that shit.
Right, echo chambers,
No, they're an echo chamber of all these brilliant individual minds. It's fascinating to see.
Star Wars theory video.
I watched part of your Orange Hat review video. That was like 2 hours. That's a fucking long time, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. But
I piecemeal it about it. No, and yeah, I hear you, because like you said, the only thing anyone can do, whether you're Fandom Menace or not, if you're not happy with a product, don't spend money on it. Don't spend time on it either.
No dub.
You know, I'm not saying necessarily organize a massive boycott, but you're like, we all operate in a world of limited resources. And you know, we have to pick and choose where we spend said resources. You know, and if the entertainment, like I gotta be honest, I tried to watch Wonder Woman 84 with my family on Christmas, and I dozed off halfway through it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I slept through.
You were disappointed too then?
It wasn't for me.
I don't think it was for a lot of people.
I thought it was an interesting concept about how, like, you know, people want what they want, and you know, you wish for everything, but I thought it was kind of, I was like, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's marginal. I'm not gonna trash the movie or make 1,000 videos about it, but I'm not gonna see it again. That I'm not gonna do. But I don't know. But you guys were discussing theaters, man. I think that shit's going the way of arcades. I mean, there used to be an arcade in my local mall growing up. I used to beast people in Mortal Kombat 2 all the time, you know, as a kid.
So if the focus is just on quality, like you build it, they will come. That's my concept.
Well, that's the thing that we're gonna, and Jarbo's in the chat, but we're gonna be in a K-shaped economic recovery according to experts I've talked to. I'm not an economist, but what that means is that people that have been working during the pandemic are probably going to be just fine. Those who did not have consistent employment are going to struggle. They're going to struggle, especially when we can't even get a reasonable stimulus package. Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. Not to get political, but that's fucking bullshit for everyone.
Can you believe how quick? Yeah, we're not getting political.
No. I said my piece on that. But my point is that the reason why
I object. He said it even before she finished saying, "Does anyone object to raising the?" I was like, oh, "Dude, you're cold as hell."
Not only that, the Republicans have a Senate runoff in Georgia. This is profoundly stupid. But anyways, well, what I'm saying is that so those who weren't are on the other end of that K. So it's a K. Part of the K goes up, part of the K goes down. And I'm hoping we can get back to some sort of equilibrium. But well, I mean, think of it this way: if I can watch a movie at home on HBO Max, I'm sure glad I didn't pay to see Wonder Woman 84 in the theater. Yeah. I'm very glad I didn't do that. We got an HBO Max subscription, took advantage of that. I'm paid up through June, so or I'm under contract until June with my cable provider. But I mean, where does most gaming take place? In the 80s, right? In arcades. Where does it take place now? In my basement on my Beast gaming PC. Why would I go to I used to go to internet cafes to compete in Counter-Strike when I was a kid. No.
Don't fight the future.
Hey, I have a race car bed. Don't judge me, okay? Vroom, bitches. Okay?
Red light in your Scooby-Doo.
Also, the Eagles suck. I heard they're not starting a bunch of starters, so that fucks my Giants.
Yeah, it's a bad year. I'm still a fan.
Yeah, no.
You gotta be a fan. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm not fair. No. So I rock the colors.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Hey Max, can I answer a Grobnob really quick? That right there, that highlight. I think that's very.
It's also a cop out. Like
it's a cop out. There you go. I don't want to say something insulting and not mean it. But
because you have an argument and then you try to actually go with the logic of the film, and then you have someone that's overly defends these bad films, and then you're like, oh, it's a magic wizard movie like Star Wars. Oh, if you're arguing about magic as superhero. I'm like, well, you're going to have an argument, stay within the argument in the context of the story and everything like that. and don't do a cop out. Oh, now that you're being overly critical about space wizards, about a magic lasso. I'm like, come on.
I think the channel is Pat Williams. I'm not sure, but he's like one of these big shield channels about stuff, especially the sequel trilogy. And he's talking about how great The Last Jedi is and how deep it is. But then he's like, what does it really matter? It's a series for 12-year-olds to sell toys about space wizards. It's like, why are you making content about it as like a 40-year-old man talking about how deep it is? The reason it's important, I know it's kind of intertwined with consumerism and the meme I like to poke fun at. That we're all part of with this movie talk stuff, but film's important. It is a form of art, and it's a way to delineate messages. I think people don't realize how important it is. The first film school was by communist Russia in Moscow, and that's how they perfected montage and stuff, and that was to delineate propaganda. The Nazis built their propaganda thanks to the film school of Moscow. They copied them. So film is very important. You can delineate a lot of messages and ideas. Look at Twitter, the stuff that they'll spin. Look at CNN. They use the same tactics.
Well, look at Hollywood. I mean, the Soviet Union pumped so much money into Hollywood for so long. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was a front for a lot of things. So I mean, like, the Red Hollywood thing is real. Like, Razor Fist has a really good video about it. I'm just saying, check it out.
Well, Hollywood has always been super left. They're just more overt about it nowadays.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like George Lucas. I have no problem saying it. He's an SJW.
I agree with you.
He's part of that side and that thought process. But he has the restraint and the solidity. Like whatever messages he wants to give people, he's doing a very progressive, minuscule way of delivery that might pique your interest or might steer you slightly in a direction of his thinking politically. The Rebels is a vague concept versus the tyranny of the Empire. You can apply it to all sorts of eras in history, but George Lucas specifically was channeling the Viet Cong with the Rebels and America as the Empire. So, versus what Rian Johnson did with anti-capitalism so overtly with a mega corporations blowing $70 billion on their competition. So it's like that's the nuance you can have with film and the messaging. You have Lucas. The most overt Lucas was copying George Bush with Anakin. And people don't even realize that now because it's so far gone. But people always see what Rian Johnson did, like, wow, you really hit that people over the head with that message.
That's why I don't like Attack of the Clones, man. The whole second half of that movie was like the Patriot Act, the movie. It was like, oh, come on.
Well, Dark Knight is a Patriot Act movie, but there's no clear answer.
Well, what's interesting? I think George Lucas is ultimately living out his Darth Sidious fantasy. He played both sides of the coin. Hear me out. Give me a second.
He became the Empire.
Yeah. Give me a second. Give me a second to explain.
No, I like it.
When he sold, he went. Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
when he sold, he went back and forth with I think Iger 3 times, right? On whether to sell, we're going to sell. So he sells. They refuse to use his story treatments. They did say we're not guaranteeing that we're going to use your story treatments. So that makes him off the hook. So if the sequel trilogy was godlike, let's just pretend for a second. Let's say it was. Oh yeah, he's going to interview. Yeah, everything's in the good place. Oh yeah, they took my creations and ran with it. It was great, and then he's going to take a good chunk of the credit because he's George Lucas, and he should. But it bombed. And he's like, nah, I didn't have nothing to do with that shit, man. I sold that motherfucker. What do you want from me? So he played his, in my opinion, his Darth Sidious fantasy. Of course, that's all speculation.
Well, here's one of your biggest fans, Firestarter, and then he says he agrees with me. Is that what you're?
Well, no, I wanted. So you guys talked briefly about the notion that a lot of people like defend a bad film by saying it's just for kids. Mm-hmm. I think it's not. It's a little not so black and white. I think it's a little gray. I think it depends. Like in that example of the context of Wonder Woman 84, just saying it's a kid film, I agree is a cop-out because the movie just doesn't make any logical sense. And you need to have some logical rules to follow. But in other examples, I feel like it really does depend on what the criticism is. If you're talking about a movie like Wonder Woman 84, where the whole film doesn't make sense, then you can't just say it's a kid film. But if you're talking about, and this is just my opinion, some of the criticisms against the sequels, not all, just some, like saying, like when people say the like the bombs dropping in the beginning of The Last Jedi makes no sense. I'm like, okay, it's Star Wars. Like it's a kids movie. Chill with that. But other criticisms like the Holdo maneuver, like going through light speed, yeah, that's something that's a little more lore breaking, even though it doesn't really bother me. So I think it depends on the extent of the criticism. If your whole plot makes no sense, then yeah, just saying it's a kid movie is a cop out. But if there's some like small things here and there, like if there's a great movie and there's one thing that doesn't make sense, like I would say, oh, if it's a kids movie, like chill with that. That's at least my take on the criticism of that.
Yeah, if I can add some like old man, like my kids are 5 and 3. They watch, silly series on YouTube, like PJ Masks stuff. PJ Masks, a show for 5-year-olds, makes more sense and has more logic to it than like these adult films. And that's the problem. So you can't cop out the kid thing when kid products make more sense and they take more care with the craft of plot, because they're.
Well, I would say adult films make more sense than what we're seeing now. You know what I mean? Like, no BS. I mean, bad acting aside, they make the plot structure of an adult film makes more sense than your big blockbuster these days. So,
well, I think the free market will ultimately correct itself. It's if it makes money, they'll keep it going. If it doesn't make money, they'll stop it. Because what it is that at the end of the day, it's not only creative types that invest into arts. You got people that invest in movies for one thing. Hey, I think this can make me some money. Mm-hmm. And if you lose that type of outside of investment, which is why I think Legendary, was it Legendary that sued HBO Max or HBO, I should say, or Warner Media or AT&T, whoever fucking owns it. They were like, look, we got outside investors and you're taking you're going to kill our theater revenue. And that's where the major draw is for the money. So I think
that's where they negotiate. I mean, no one could have foresaw this happening. This is where people negotiate to make the film, for all the back end deals. I make so much more if it makes this much. And they kind of
milestone agreements, right? And then I think Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins were going to get their milestone agreements regardless of how it performed in the box office. Not every other film crew and cast were going to get the same deal, if I heard that correctly. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are fucking pissed. And I believe Nolan is behind fucking banning any work with them. Like there's some Directors Guild, if I'm correct on that.
Yeah, he completely put the script on.
Deuces on these guys, man.
WB let him do whatever he wanted, including release Tenet in the theaters, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work in this environment. It would normally make lots of money. It just did not work.
I haven't seen it, but I heard good
everyone
things.
Says, listen, if they didn't do this with Wonder Woman, it wouldn't get released yet, and then there would be nothing playing in theaters right now. So it actually is helping theaters right now, instead of a year down the line.
Imagine if the Rise of Skywalker was supposed to come out in like May of 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and because Black Widow still hasn't come out. So imagine if the Rise of Skywalker still hasn't come out, and that means we have to do like a whole another year of like the sequel trilogy toxicity that goes on with the fans. That would be awful. So sometimes I just thank God the Rise of Skywalker came out just before the pandemic hit. Because imagine
they were right though. Gina Carano's on Drunk's channel and Star Wars Theory. I listen. I have to listen to my man Angus. Don't fight it. It's not worth it. And he told me before. He's like, they're getting the interviews and stuff. I'm not going to complain about it, but
man, hats off to 3PO, Drunk 3PO. And I actually
congrats.
With regards to Pablo Hidalgo, I think that situation's a little overblown. If I'm Lucasfilm here, I mean, he shouldn't have done what he did. Don't get me wrong; that he's a dick. I mean, but if I'm Lucasfilm, I sit down anyone who wants to try to like pseudo edgy boy, and on social media as an employee of my company, I would say this: like, look,
for sure.
Here's what's going to happen. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. An overwhelming majority of these people are glass cannons. They can dish out a ton of shit online. You say one thing and they fall fucking apart, and they make 1,000 hours of YouTube videos on one tweet.
Right.
So you have to know your
you're right.
audience. And yes, and that's what I would say. A lot of them are big, or they're fake softies just to get attention. We don't need that kind of heat right now. So all you have to do is just not do anything.
Right. That's
if you want to continue, that's the stance I would take. If I were running a company and somebody was making my company look bad, I would either correct them, discipline them, or cut them loose.
Twitter's for promoting only, not
Yeah.
That's where I said Patty Jenkins is doing the right thing. She's not responding.
Nope.
Hopefully, she keeps her mouth shut and not go the Ryan Johnson.
Or you could just say, "I'm sorry you didn't like the film. We'll take it in." You disarm people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you didn't like the film. We'll take the feedback into consideration for future projects. Boom,
right.
done.
Totally.
It's over.
Anymore.
The discussion is done.
Yep.
Yeah, give it the HR answer.
If you're for the Phantom Menace or you're against it, one thing is for sure: they will make 100 videos on one tweet.
That's the wise word, man.
It's not worth it. So
yeah, to me, it's just not worth it because, again, it's just not worth the bad PR. But it is what it is. That's what I would do. Now, maybe Lucasfilm maybe they see them as a drop in the bucket and they just don't give a shit. That's probably the case if I had to guess. But the problem is that I think with the sequel trilogy, they took the old fans for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Like a drug addict going back to their dealer. It doesn't matter how good the product is, you're still going to come to me. So I can treat you like shit. I can, flick cigarette butts at you. What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything. And then kind of create those new fans. So they created some new fans, but it appears, at least in my opinion, that it might be a net negative. Meaning they didn't create enough new fans to replace said old fans that were, Last Jedi was not a good film. I think they should have gave Ryan Johnson a standalone film where give him Rogue One, so that way if it sucks, who gives a shit? It was an experimental film. I mean, they even marked, hey, we're trying some concepts here. It may fly.
I like Last Jedi now. Much better than Rise.
Shit.
I do. I like it compared to
I actually like 9. I know people are going to dunk on me for that. I didn't think.
No, I like 9.
I like 9. I love 7.
It did what it could.
7 was
I mean, JJ was he was like an EMT going to the scene 10 minutes late, just trying to revive anyone who could take the scene.
You're upsetting your fan. You're upsetting.
I'm sorry, man. I like
No. I'm still a huge Firestarter fan. I don't care what his Star Wars opinions are.
No. But I mean,
I just disagree.
Oh wait, no, he likes The Last Jedi. I have to leave the stream and make 10 videos about it.
Maximum subbing now. You have a Last Jedi hater on your channel. I'm not subbing.
Well, you want to be the first on sub.
I know, right? So no, but that's my opinion. They should have gave J.J. Abrams all of it and live and die by it.
They asked him and he said no.
Yeah, it's partly his fault. Yeah.
Well, it's also his fault. He was a producer on Last Jedi, and he's I love it. I wish I directed this movie.
He puts his name as producer.
Yeah, when he was towing the party line, though.
He's fucking both ways. So
I can't believe you guys still trust
I feel bad for him.
Star Trek.
I feel bad for him for having to figure out 9 and going forward with kind of a very final end with Episode 8 narratively, but he kind of made his bed. So it's kind of his fault too.
I passionately disagree with the notion that I don't know if you want to get into sequel trilogy talk, Max, because I can do that forever. But I passionately disagree with the notion that JJ was written into a corner and he couldn't make a good film. That's my take.
Okay.
I think Duel of the Fates.
How would you have done 9?
You want to be here for 3 hours? I can explain.
Give me like a 60-second nutshell.
I think the first thing is they should have delayed and tried to make a more cohesive story.
I would have done something a lot similar to what Duel of the Fates did in terms of the broad strokes of the plot, and then when it came to actual more character stuff with Rey and Kylo, I would have followed similar to The Rise of Skywalker, because The Rise of Skywalker completely dropped the ball with Finn. And Finn's story in the Duel of the Fates script, I think, was really good. But then the Duel of the Fates script, the Rey and Kylo stuff was a little weird. There's this 10,000-year-old Sith. That's a little weird. They go to Mortis. It's it was a little too science fiction-y. And then there's that cringe quote by Hux where he's like, we just lost the Star Wars, and then he kills himself. Like we don't need to see that in.
We
don't need to see that in episode 9.
That was the line in it. We just lost the Star Wars.
Yeah,
That's the meta comment.
To be fair, the
memes would have been real on
Fates,
that one.
the leaked Duel of the Fates script, I believe, was a first draft. So yeah, but
You would have
that's
totally gotten that.
I'll tell you 2 things I would have done. I would have, since this is rounding out the Skywalker saga and it's 9 films, I would have actually acknowledged the prequels a lot more. Not just because I'm a fan, but it should be for everyone. This is like the finale of this series within a universe.
I completely agree.
And also, I would have, I would have Gandalf the White Luke Skywalker. I'd have been like, somebody with the Force to come back to right the ship. They were wrong.
I respect that, but hell no.
I thought I wanted that too. Like they're in Last Jedi. They're experimenting with being in the Force and affecting a change in the physical realm, like with the fire to the tree. Like what and projecting. So why couldn't he just project himself into the real world and do but not kill?
It would have been cool
how
if
the Force works.
If it would have been cool if he became like Force Ghost Luke, and then he catches the saber, and then he comes back. He's like, "Hey, bitches, I'm back." No,
but
not
I would
like,
think
like,
where you can't kill someone if you're a Force Ghost, but you could still, help.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
don't like it when they explain I don't want the Force to be explained so much. Like the midichlorians was enough. Like there's things like in Last Jedi he uses the Yoda uses the lightning. And people are like, oh, why couldn't he go attack Snoke and kill him like that? I don't want to explain stuff like that with the Force too much. So I personally would have not liked to seen that in any makeshift episode 9.
That's the other thing. I would have in this. I would have actually had some scene just to see the other side of the Force, see the ghost side of it. Like, what's it like? Just something small.
That was in Duel of the Fates. I think that was interesting because Rey gets killed somewhat. And at the end, and I think she sees a ghost of Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Luke. And they're like, you can stay here with the Force and be happy, or you can go back to the real world and continue pain and suffering, but you'll be with your friends. And then she goes back to the real world, and they all live happily ever after. I think that's what happens.
I think they wasted John Boyega. I think he has tremendous talent.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And Kylo should have stayed dark side. They should have did an actual Bendu between Rey and Kylo.
I would really subvert if I was directing. I would really subvert expectations. I'd have Kylo kill everyone, and in the end, be him rolling the galaxy. That's how I would end the trilogy.
One thing I did like about The Last Jedi is Adam Driver's performance.
That's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I thought he did very, very well with that. He's obviously a phenomenal actor, and
maybe he wanted out. I don't
go watch Marriage Story. If you doubt,
I saw that. Yeah, he was up against not Heath Ledger. Good Lord, what the fuck, Joaquin Phoenix for. And so if Joker didn't exist, he probably would have gotten Best Actor for Marriage Story. But Joker did exist, and Joaquin Phoenix just is godlike in that film.
Do you think Kylo's story arc was always going to have him be redeemed and die, or do you think that Adam Driver did not want to continue have his character out there to come back?
Well, I think they could have kept him alive, and they wouldn't have to have Adam return. You could always do some. I don't think we're gonna get any of the characters in a live action story.
Kylo fans, oh my goodness!
I don't think even if Kylo did live, I don't think Adam Driver would ever come back.
I thought he said he's done.
He's done.
He's done.
Yeah,
he wants to put his.
He's bigger than Star Wars. He's like Harrison.
Yeah,
he's bigger than Star Wars.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, and that's probably the problem with the sequel trilogy in general. Just that regardless who did it, you wanted to bring everyone back. Harrison Ford looks back at his time on Star Wars. He says, "This is shit.
Yeah.
This is my worst acting.
Very fondly,
this is my worst fucking act, and you want me to come back and do it again?"
Well, you got $34 million for it. So
yeah,
I don't think
that's my fee. That's my goddamn fee. You better pay me.
That's a nice cushy retirement right there. You know what I mean?
I better be able to buy a small country for me to revisit that shit. That's how much because he looks back on it, and wasn't he like cutting up the set because him and George Lucas couldn't agree on shit. He was a carpenter on set first, if I remember right. He took a saw. He's like, fuck your Millennium Falcon. Like the model of it. It's like,
you can write this shit, but you can't say it, George.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the line, right? Like, Jesus.
Here's what Harrison Ford said to USA Today about Force Ghost. He said, I don't know what a Force Ghost is. Don't tell anyone. I'm not talking on for your recorder. I have no fucking idea what a Force Ghost is. I don't care.
I mean, that's classic Harrison Ford. He gives zero fucks, man. You know what? But like, how are you supposed to do a trilogy with him?
I agree.
How are you supposed to
not do Indiana Jones?
Especially when he wanted to die at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they said they voted that idea off.
Empire.
You know what's
really
funny?
I didn't know that actually.
What's really funny is if you watch a lot of the press interviews of The Force Awakens, a lot of these nerdy interviews will ask Harrison Ford these questions like, "Who shot first, Greedo or Han?" And he's like, "I don't care."
I'm here because I'm under contract. Do fucking better with my time, please. Like,
I'm here because I get paid.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch. He's looking at the clock. All right, you got me for 15, or what's he?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Oh, you dropped your recorder. Here you go. All right, deuces. I'm out. I'm gonna eat some Skittles. I'm gonna eat some Skittles and run for some fucking touchdowns. That's what I'm gonna do.
The Nigel movie guy comes up with a topic, kind of. Harrison Ford should not do another Indiana Jones movie. What's
like 80 years old? Probably not.
He's in shape though. He looks good.
He wants to do it though. He does not let sway about Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, he wants it to do it. He wants to do it. If he
after 4 with aliens, what else are you gonna do?
I hope Shia LaBeouf comes back. It's
awful.
Does the James Mangold from Logan director make you feel any better about the situation?
No, I mean Spielberg screwed up. That means anyone can screw up.
I've only seen the 4th one time. I've not seen it since.
It's good. It's not great.
It was all of them once.
It was Ancient Aliens.
Better than 84.
It was so stupid.
Well, I like how they make a movie called The Last Crusade and then they make another one.
Yes, thank you. They should have just made that the exclamation.
That is kind of funny, man. Sean Connery was
hated
for Nazis.
Man.
That reminds me of
the poorly, and then that's it. It's a wrap.
I'm gonna jump in the refrigerator, survive a nuclear blast.
That reminds me of the Saw movies, the 7th Saw movies called like the final chapter, and then they made an 8th one.
I'm a sucker for those Saw films, though. I can't wait for the Spiral.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker.
I would prefer they bring back like Indiana Jones TV show for Disney Plus, like
and then they cast Alden Ehrenreich to play him.
Yeah, somebody younger,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. He's fake, dude. That looked good.
Chris Pratt put some star power behind it.
Yep, I'd take Chris Pratt any day, and I'm sure he
should have been Solo. People would have came out, but
I disagree.
Fine, fair enough. All right, maybe I'm a little far on that one, but he's a damn good actor.
He brings the audience too. He delivers. Guardians
brings those evil Christians.
That's
well, they tried that. I feel like with the cancel culture, because if you look at what happened to Gina Carano, I think because while I was not posting under my Firewater account, because I have another account for sports for separate things, I was kind of poking around and seeing, and it seems like she's inoculated now, unless I'm wrong. Because I saw in her tweets that she posts her messages daily, and they're nice and reasonable, and it's not like where like it was a couple of months ago people are trying to cancel her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she kind of rode the virus out, if you will, of cancel culture. Would you guys agree?
I don't know.
I just think she
or at least
kind of gives them a finger with her tweets.
No, I agree, and that's the point. She's not like what are you going to do?
Well, by appearing on all
my opinion, okay, fine. What are you going to do? You're going to email Bob Iger?
And then what pissed off a lot of people was that I think like Pedro Pascal and Katie Sackhoff didn't come to her defense, but they said things like, "Oh, we love Gina Carano. We love working with her." So like, they kind of not sided with her, but stood up for her in a sense, and that pissed off a lot of the
insulated her.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but I mean, she caught a
I
lot
agree
of
with
flack.
she did. She did say
Well,
she
I
did
mean,
do some stupid thing.
She's still pushing the boundaries by going on these YouTuber shows. Like I'm not going to hate them on anymore. And congrats again, drunk. But that's going to put more heat on her too.
I have a feeling though, like all it takes is for one of those to go wrong somehow, and I'm not saying it will.
Well,
but
drunk's a reasonable guy. He's one of most level-headed.
Do you think Gina Carano is genuinely aware of like what all these YouTube channels do? Like, do you think she is familiar with like? Do you think she watches all like the Geeks and Gamers videos? Do you think so?
I would say all of them, but she's in touch with it.
Significant portion.
I think she knows what's going on.
Stuff. She's got to be aware to a degree.
I mean, if you're gonna go on someone's show, you got to know what they're about. At least not every single video, but you got to get at least a reasonable sample size.
It is weird when you like. I couldn't picture myself like going on someone else's channel when that person has slandered my boss so many times and like do it publicly. It's a little interesting. No, I'm not saying I have anything wrong with it, but it's a little weird.
That's a great point. Like
that's a reasonable point. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. Although I don't know if Drunk ever did. I did more extreme videos than Drunk. Kathleen Kennedy fired. She would never appear on my show. But that's an excellent point. That's pretty ballsy to go on someone's. That is her boss. Like
that's why I question how much does she actually know about like what some of those YouTube channels have done.
I think she doesn't care. I think she honestly just is going to say whatever she wants, and then if something goes wrong, she's going to speak out about it. It's going to be a bad publicity for Lucasfilm again. If they do actually, I don't think they would can her at this point. She's got a lot of support for her character, and
she did well in that role. I mean, I do like her as Cara Dune, and if she's going to be in that with like Rangers of the Republic Rangers, Power Rangers, what the fuck?
Rangers
fuck is it? Like, whatever. You know what? Sign me the fuck up. I'm already paid up for the year anyways. And
although it's weird though, they didn't announce her as because that not the end credit scene, but like that epilogue in that one episode basically implied that she would be in that Rangers of the New Republic show because she is now a Ranger of the New Republic, but they didn't reveal her name with the project. So
Gina,
I wonder,
Texas Ranger.
Actually, I want to address Rel right here. I agree with you that she doesn't care. I'm just wondering if there are unintended consequences for everyone, for the people that were trying to cancel her. It's not whether you care or not. It's whether the backlash has any impact, if that makes any sense. Because I think that the stuff they were hitting her on was stupid.
Yeah.
Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. I wear a mask, and I try to avoid people in public that don't wear one. I'm not gonna spray a water bottle in their face. I just fucking dip. Low key, just kind of get away from me.
Well, here's some interesting thing about with Gina and Go on Drunk Show, and he's part of Geeks and Gamers. Is Pedro Pascal got called out for the KKK Nazi tweet about Trump voters or Instagram post, and there's like this back and forth with the Geeks and Gamers Twitter and him.
Yeah, stay on top of it.
And so, like, she has to be aware because like they came to her defense of the cancel culture. And so this might be indicative of either Lucasfilm like turn a blind eye because they might realize like, crap, like we're going to have to rely on streaming and people on the internet praising or dogging our stuff. So this might be more behind the scenes stuff with Lucasfilm than you think, than just like, oh, she's like rogue and doesn't care despite her employment. There's a lot of questions to it.
Well, or they could be playing the Lord Sidious again and playing both sides of the coin. Let Pedro do his SJW tweets. Let Gina do her anti-SJW tweets, and everybody wins. And we make a whole lot of money because all of them are going to subscribe.
I mean, she is the poster girl for the people that like to talk a lot about the political stuff in geek culture now that are leaning more right talking points, right leaning. So it would be a big PR disaster if they did anything against her now because she is not afraid to speak her mind. And I do think she cares more about her speech than her career in acting. I do think she cares about it, but I don't, she's going to push the boundaries. I don't think she pushes it too.
I don't think she's that bad. Like, I get people are kind of like, I guess maybe because you know what it is? People like to embellish things on the internet because that gets attention. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So I think there's a lot of fake fucking worry about things. There's some legitimate worry, but I think people amp up symptoms so that they come get people to kind of rescue them, so to speak, and it makes them feel important. There's too many fucking people on the planet, right? And there's not enough value rolls to go around, and that's the truth. Think of it this way: I graduated with 600 kids in my high school. There were 3 public high schools in where I grew up, okay, and they all had a similar popular. Well, guess what? There's only one starting varsity quarterback for 600 kids per school. Now, it's the same thing if there's 200 kids in the school or 100 kids in the school, right? But how many? Maybe there's 10 kids in my school that wanted to be starting quarterback. Well, guess what? Fuck off. You didn't get it. So what else do they do, right? Take that kind of and then extrapolate it upon all the other things. You got people that are mad at Gina because she doesn't say what they want them to say. Well, then I'm sorry, Snowflake, you got to grow up. People aren't always going to agree with you.
Right.
And it's at the end of the day, whatever. I mean, and that's why when Pablo Hidalgo was it was a dick move, but I don't know. He didn't cost me any money. Right. I don't really. Star Wars Theory was crying, got made fun of. Yeah. It's the internet. Part of me is okay, dude. And then Jeremy will defend him, and then he'll say, well, these people certainly wouldn't survive Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, a little bit of a contradiction there.
Yeah.
A lot of it, but
you're right. You're right.
Right?
I didn't even watch Star Wars Theory. He had
a reaction. All right, he's a human. I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna beat him up for it, but it's
I'm not gonna make fun of him either. But it could also. I don't know if there are YouTubers that do the fake crying too. I don't know. I don't know if it's genuine or not. I know him to be he pulls stunts, but that's also why he's so successful too.
Well, yeah, he's surgical, whereas he comes in with a scalpel, where Jeremy comes in with a battle axe, right? You know, awesome. If you think about it. But I do think he said, well, I gave him 6 hours to respond. How did 6 hours? That's not even a full business day.
Time. Yeah.
What if
come on now?
Writing a book for 10 hours?
Yeah, I gave him 35 minutes. I have fucking 3 million subs. Get back to me. What the fuck are you doing with your life all day, Pablo? Come on. I thought that was 6 hours.
Hey guys, I gotta dip out.
Oh, hey, thanks.
This was awesome.
Yeah, we want more Chubby
Thanks for everything, guys. I really enjoyed this, man. Thanks, Max, for doing this. Angus, awesome. Always good seeing you. Same with you, Brian. Goldman.
It's good to see your
good work. Firewater, you're awesome, man. I enjoyed this. So
thank
have
you,
a good one, guys.
Thank you. It was great streaming with you.
Till next time, guys.
Take it easy, bud. Yep.
I think if I was Kathleen Kennedy or someone at Lucasfilm, in my contract, I'd be if you work for me, you have to be really careful on Twitter, because I feel every time it's always Twitter. Ryan Johnson said one thing about man babies on Twitter, and that started the Phantom Menace, and it's still a thing for years.
I mean,
later.
They wouldn't exist if it's not for Twitter. The Phantom Menace
exactly
exist.
God, I hate Twitter.
No, I disagree.
No, the Phantom Menace wouldn't exist unless there was no money in it.
Well, the Phantom Menace. Well, wasn't the big thing about the Phantom Menace was that we can excuse a bad film, but it's the way you treat the fans that pisses us off. That's what Jeremy used to say all the time. Am I wrong?
For me, my personal experience was just The Last Jedi, and I'm an original trilogy fanboy. I wasn't hurt because that's not the characters I'm attached to, but I was just wow, this sucks. And I followed back up on bullshitters with the coverage of that movie after seeing it, having seen their spoiler video for the film, and then it kind of, I would say it was just The Last Jedi. We hate this movie kind of collective. Then it blew up because of the treatments. Then you get Last Jedi fans that are still wait, this isn't cool from Lucasfilm. And then you kind of get this festering throughout entertainment. And now it's just gone full force with mainstream media coverage for something or a slant. Now it's gone to just real world events and politics. So we're kind of, this and Ghostbusters is probably the epicenter for this kind of movement to start. And then you got Comicsgate as well with that platform of entertainment. So I mean, it's morphing all the time with new entertainment.
It's just a different front to the culture war, basically. So,
is there an end goal for the Phantom Menace, or is it now because they wanted Lucasfilm to change, and I feel in their eyes, they've made The Mandalorian, which most people seem to love. I mean, The Rise of Skywalker wasn't a good movie, but I don't see how you could say there was SJW politics in there. I feel in a lot of people's eyes, Lucasfilm is trending in the right direction. You know, they doing the Obi-Wan show, they bring Hayden back. That makes prequel fans very happy. So, like, what's the point of the Fandom Menace now? Is it just to hold Lucasfilm accountable for when they do screw up, or not just Lucasfilm, but anything?
Hate Ragers making money on YouTube.
I guess for like my personal standard bearing, that would be it. Yeah, it's just.
Okay.
But yeah, like I can't be
admit
accountable for everyone else.
They won't.
I just gotta lead where I can. That's kind of where I'm at. It's a loose collective on a loose ideal, and you got varying degrees of involvement for different reasons. So.
But the thing that I think kills it is that you got the people making money off of it. Like war classes say, join the Fandom Menace, pay me $1 a month, and you can be angry like me. You know, and you got Doomcock just pulling shit out of his ass. I mean, come on, literally. And you know, it's all just what they do is they position impossible problems. They find shit for people to get angry out of it. Like if Star Wars isn't in a great place, I'm a fan, but it's not going to ruin my day to day. I'm not going to pretend it is to get attention on the internet. And actually, you know what's funny? It's interesting though. A lot of the Fandom Menace people, that they've been struggling a lot. I've seen a lot of GoFundMes.
Well,
people
they do that on a good day.
No, but to make milk. Well, I mean, I do think. No. But I mean, what I'm thinking about though is, and I'm not trying to come across as heartless or cruel because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Only the top make good money.
But the thing is, it seems like some of them are chasing this pipe dream, and that because Star Wars isn't a good place, now they kind of have to e-beg for money.
They're gonna hop on this Pablo Hidalgo thing for like 2 months now.
What's that?
Until something else goes wrong. So they're gonna hop on.
He should have known too, though, Pablo.
But like Mandalorian. We just had one of the best episodes of one of the best pieces of Star Wars content, arguably since maybe the original trilogy. And like what a lot of people are focusing on is the Star Wars theory drama, because it's like what else is there to complain about? You can't complain about the Mandalorian. I mean, I guess you can, but you're not gonna.
No, but my point is that it's. What are some of these YouTubers going to do? Because, like I said, Jeremy's got to make 100 videos about the tweet that Pablo sent. Which I got to be honest, like if you're going to be an internet tough guy,
all right, Brian,
then you can't cry about these types of tweets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you understand me? You can't have it both ways.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you.
I hear you. It's like, look, should Pablo gone after Theory? No. Was Theory's response
should have known
proportionate? I don't think so.
No.
You give a guy 6 hours, and then he offered to call and have a conversation. He said no. What do you want? An apology via email? Apology?
Wait. Pablo said he would talk to him, or if they
yes,
yeah. He tried to call him.
And Lucasfilm people tried to make it right.
So he wouldn't do that, but then he goes on. Oh, now I have a.
Because it was after 6 hours.
With Star Wars theory. Now I have.
Tell me if I got my facts wrong. If I fucked that up, I did. But
no, I didn't know that. That's a bullshit.
No, I think Firewater is right, because I remember he posted a video because he was doing this like nerd theory podcast, and he's like, after 6 hours, Pablo Hidalgo called me, and he's like. And I was like, I'm not going to talk to him. He waited too long. He's only doing this because of the backlash. I'm like, Pablo Hidalgo's a busy man. He's one of the most important people at Lucasfilm, especially with the story group.
Now that reveals what Star Wars theory is about. I'm sorry.
And he monetized those videos. That's what really pisses me off.
Well, maybe again, he might be having a slow Star Wars month.
No, he's Star Wars theory. No, he's not.
Maybe, all right. Well, then I'm trying to think of the motive then, other than financial.
Just because you're doing well doesn't mean you can't always get that extra buck.
That's true.
I mean, now that Mandalorian's over, what is he going to talk about? High Republic?
Yeah, maybe he ran up his Amex too much for the month. That should.
Well, I know Star Wars theory is trying to fund episode 2 for his Vader fan series, and he said $250,000 bucks. Right? He said the bill's going to be about $250,000.
Well, he does whatever he can to make money around it. Like I have a Star Wars theory, and I've heard from other YouTubers too that whole shenanigans with the copyright claim for music. He knew exactly what was going to happen if he used the music because he talked to Lucasfilm directly. He's like,
no, he produced his own. He got someone to produce similar, but not Lucasfilm music, and he still got the claim. But what I was going to say to kind of go off of Firewater. That was my point in my video was like, this is silly and made because when like you didn't see him say anything about Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, calling potentially half of the fan base Nazis for being Trump supporters, but then he gets made fun of subjectively.
Yeah, stop saying that. Just because I don't.
Well, I don't agree with Pedro Pascal. I'd have the same message with him, although obviously he's much more, be like, look, man, just for promotion only, please.
Right.
Have your opinions.
Why is it even a discussion anymore? I mean, Firewater, you should be in charge for sure. Like, don't only promote on social media. It's like, look at with
actors, it's going to be more difficult. But like.
I mean, they're human beings. I mean, they're going to say what they're going to say. I mean, just like
whether they're going to be on if I'm running a company, it's whether they're going to be on my dime or not.
Right.
You can say, I don't have to deal with the consequences of your speech. And at some point, like if I'm running a business, especially in the type of work that I'm in, it's safe to say the public perception is important. And so if someone comes across as a D-bag, if I were running right now I'm working for someone, I was going to start a business, but then the pandemic hit and I said, fuck all that noise. That's not happening. I would be like, look, I can't have this.
Well, the thing with Pablo, though, is that what he said was in a private tweet. So it's like, if it was a public thing, I would be more understanding. But like he said it in the privacy of his own like private Twitter. And then he's like, I guess one of his followers managed to screenshot it, and I don't know. That's the whole thing. Like he blew his whole thing out of proportion from a private tweet, and it wasn't whatever.
I hear you. You're not wrong.
Sandbagged.
Yeah, you're not wrong at the end. Not that I'm again, Pablo was being a dick. I'm not defending him, but at the same time, it's a slow Star Wars outrage YouTube, right? So then they kind of need a revenue boost. So again, they're going to make 20 videos about one little tweet, and then they'll call other people snowflakes, and I find that absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. I hate the whole Star Wars theory situation. Really grinds my gears because I do think what Pablo Hidalgo said was somewhat innocent, but putting the tweet as his header, I think, was beyond idiotic. I think
my whole thing is you reveal what he's all about by not talking to the man on a call and then going to who's live streams.
And then he'll sit with Jeremy. Yeah, we settle stuff like men. We call. Hey, Pablo's like, hey, I'd like to call you. No, fuck you. You don't get a call.
Right.
And then
you can give me 6 hours.
His fans eat it up, man. And then they have. You know what it is? What the fandom menace YouTubers, I'll say, the primary ones that they're great at making their stupid fans feel smart.
Yeah, exactly.
They're very good at false validation. They are excellent at it. Excellent. Because they contradict themselves right in the middle of their streams.
Well, Mladen, there's no proof that they didn't either, though. Like,
I don't know if they did or didn't.
Even World Class called her a potato sack. I mean, look at him. He has room to talk. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm a big guy myself, but there was at that time, EVS only became a fan after they found out, that she was leaving. But there was a lot of stuff making fun of her character and how she looks at that time. So there's no proof.
The proof would be, seeing actual racist stuff against Kimmy Tran that chased her off, and there's no proof of that. She just vanished.
Well,
and then made allegations. So there's the proof. You're just saying stuff, and media runs with it.
Yeah, I haven't seen any proof. I'm not aware of it.
I do recall the only thing I ever saw was, and you can't necessarily put this on the Fandom Menace because you don't know who did it, but someone changed Rose's Wikipedia page to have a lot of Asian slurs. I vividly remember seeing that. But again, you can't put that on the Fandom Menace. And besides that, I haven't seen any other like physical proof. But I don't know. I think I wouldn't put it on the Fandom Menace, but I would, if I was her, I would have left every social media too, because it's just so toxic, every single one. Like for me on Twitter recently, I unfollowed almost everyone. Like I think I only follow like 30 people right now, like people that I know, like I'm actually interested in what they have to say.
You still follow me.
I do still follow you.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't blame her, but again, it's like it's a tricky situation. But that's in the past. The whole Kelly Marie Tran thing.
Well, Nicotina bounced on that subject. Bye, Nicotina. It's hot. I remember at that time though. Just imagine what you get when you have a bad day on Twitter and you see all the idiots. Imagine that a millionfold with being a celebrity. So
comes with the territory.
Actually, you know what happened recently? Yesterday, I made a tweet. Now, I've been a little hypocritical recently. I made a tweet calling out the Fandom Menace, and I probably shouldn't have done that. And I got DMs from people. Like, I had my DMs open. Like, I got 2 messages saying, you'll get cancer in a month. I'm like, bro. And then, like, other people are like, they'll message me things, and they'll, like, send, like, threats, or they'll say, like, oh, you're too scared to respond to this message. And I'm just like, I don't need to respond to it. I made a tweet. I muted the tweet. And then, like, apparently people will fight in the replies. So yeah, and also just seeing like people the way they treat like Gina Carano, that pisses me off. So I just unfollowed everyone except for a select few people.
That's why my DMs are closed. I probably spared.
Yeah, I closed them now.
I spared myself a fucking ton of headache. I can imagine, especially when I was going really hard at them and hitting them on shit. But it's kind of is what it is. But it is interesting to see. Actually, there's a new account I noticed. It says the Fandom Menace like post their L's.
I want to follow that one.
No, but it had the Mary Mayhem GoFundMe because she's unfortunately actually she would have been evicted, I believe, 2 days ago because the moratorium on evictions, I believe. I don't know if that was federal, but I know in my state ended December 31st. I don't know if they extended that because at some point the landlords are just going to fucking sue.
Oh
like,
no!
Yeah. But
it's not personal.
It's not first.
I guess it kind of is, but like it's not personal.
I think Rel, I think you're right. What are you talking about in here? Nicotina's like, oh, I'm out. My four nerds gig. Peace. Yes. All right.
But in any case, though, I do feel bad, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough scenario out there, and
well, I mean, you even had like big YouTubers like Mega Hater and Midnight's Bitch, not Mega Hater, her boyfriend, complaints talking about Room to Talk, saying, "Oh, the trailer for Rise of Skywalker telling about Kelly Marie Tran. Oh, she hit. It was kind of a kind of racial comment too." And I guess some people might say it's comedy, but say, "Oh, she must have hit the China buffet." For the see, you're part of the problem. Look at you. You're part of that's funny to you.
I love racist humor. I make black jokes all the time. I'm black.
Okay, so I mean, but then you're gonna say, "Oh, there's no proof of it," even from the top to the bottom, like potato sack. Jeff Hicks calling her a potato sack. Come on.
Potatoes are an Irish staple. You don't think of Asians with potatoes?
I think if you wanted to search it out and then also what's that guy's name? No, I forget his name. He made a whole documentary about how
Itchy Baka.
Itchy Baka made a whole 2-hour documentary about not being able to prove that why she left.
I mean, he made like a 10-hour response video to my Mary Sue video.
10 hour.
I think the longest one I saw
think that
was
guy
like
is
17
scamming
hours.
disability. I think he's taking a disability check and he can fucking clearly work from home.
Oh,
that's what I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Fire and water.
I don't know. I actually brought that up to him. I was just like, look, are you scamming? Either you have a fucking benefactor, because there's no way you're holding a regular job with the amount of times that you post. That's not happening.
Right. You're
you know, but then I'm just kidding. But I don't know, man. That guy he's saying the Fandom Menace must die now. It's kind of funny to see the infighting because this happens all the time. When there's no common enemy, they eat each other because they just want to dunk on people on Twitter. A lot of them, not everyone. Some people are legitimate.
Star Wars release a new film. I thought I saw something about that on Chris. I didn't
It's like an animated thing.
He did like an animated kind of like prequel to episode 2. It's pretty cool. I'm excited.
To
But
pick it up. Yeah.
I try to be objective. I'm not a fanboy of any channel.
Yeah.
I like Theory overall, but I just feel like he's tapping into the dark side a little bit with that low hanging fruit for content, in my opinion.
He went after
That's a YouTube playbook though.
Yeah, but I hold him to a higher standard because he actually makes original like he does those what if scenarios. I used to listen to those all the time. So what if Anakin didn't actually? What if Mace Windu beat Sidious? You know, like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, that's a great question. So I mean, he doesn't need to like Jeremy can't create anything. He made a music video once and he lost money on it.
I never watched that one.
Oh, well, I wish I could get my time back, or I should send him a bill. Well, I'll prorate my hourly rate, and then he could pay me. But and I hit him on that during our interview, which was in 2019, I believe. Yeah.
He stopped getting interviews after you.
Yeah, he did. That's fucking funny, huh? You know. Because you know what it is, man.
Here's Nerdette. Hi, Nerdette.
Oh, hey.
I was doing clickbait, Nerdette. Just be happy.
Oh my god!
It didn't come out yet. I'd like to talk to Nerdette still. I think she disagrees with me a lot.
No, that's not the end of the world either. But I mean, what it comes down to is Theory. I think Theory actually can make a product, whereas Jeremy needs something to shit on to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're definitely right.
And right now he's got something. He could run with that Pablo Hidalgo thing. I think it's probably got maybe another week of legs.
I think he's done with it. I think he said he was not going to address it anymore. Like he said, like he made a video, like my final thoughts on the Pablo Hidalgo situation. So unless Pablo says something again, I think he's done.
Yeah,
with
but then we discussed earlier that there was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. There's another movie out, and then they're going to make another one. So I mean,
says Nerdette likes Wonder Woman 84. I didn't know. I got to watch your review. I didn't know you liked it. I'm super entertaining. I wish you tell my sub count that. Thanks,
hey, actually,
that's seal of approval.
Max, I wanted to ask you, switching topics a little bit. Is there any more on the Tommy Tallarico front? Because I noticed the price of the what was it called again? I'm sorry,
the television Amico.
Amico, they did drop the price on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's $250 now. Still a lot of fucking money.
No. That's how much it is. That's just not.
Oh, I thought it was $300 originally.
That's not the special edition. The special Keller is a little bit more expensive.
Never mind. I'm an idiot. I came to you with incomplete.
No. Like the base one's $250. Yeah.
I always thought it was $300.
Most of the like premium packages are close to $300.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, yeah, I like the guy a lot, but I don't think. But anyways,
pre-ordered. Let me see. Nerdette's responding. It's entertaining. Okay, yeah. Don't confuse her with hate channels. She likes to challenge ideas too. She's not just a hate rager. She's saying. I agree. I've watched some of her videos. I'm subscribed. I got to watch your Wonder Woman. I know you're not. I think you're not too much a fan of the whole Ray Fisher situation, and I know you like Jeff Johns. I know you're a Jeff Johns. I believe you're a Jeff Johns supporter. So, Zeno says the new Astro Smash video is kind of cool. They just released that. Yes. Does anyone else have any other topics before we've been going over 2 hours? Are you working on anything, Goldman and Angus and Firestarter? Is your channel going to come up?
My channel, no.
Or you just come out, you just lay heat on Movie Madness and Entertainment Live.
Pretty much. I'm your exclusive, man. You're my exclusive.
That's
I don't know.
great.
I don't know how that works, dude. I don't. You know what it is? If I'm gonna dip time and effort into something, like promoting a channel and all that shit, I'd have to scale back on other things, which I'm not prepared to. I like coming on here once in a while, spewing out my thoughts. People agree, disagree. That's great. It takes a lot of work to do a YouTube channel. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's true.
You're right about that.
I mean, I do know that. But I don't have the passion to make my own channel and run my own channel and all that shit. I just don't.
It does take a lot of time. Like I just do it. I should have left a while ago. No, if you don't.
No, I agree, man.
I mean, if depending on what you're in for. If you're in for success, and you're basing on my analytics and channel, I should have quit a while because I'm not growing. I'm like stale. I'm like, but I still have fun and I still like to talk. I'm only here for the people now, like Goldman, Angus, and Firestar. I actually was like, oh no, I was gonna look for you, Firestar, because I actually couldn't stream for a while. And then I got my streaming back and I was like, oh, I'm gonna send Firestar a link just in case. And I'm like, where are you?
No, I suspended my Twitter account for a month. I had some family stuff going on. Yeah, no, everyone's reasonably well right now. So it's I had bigger fish to fry, and it's I'm curious to see how the fandom menace moves along from here.
Well, they're in the nerd culture right now. They're not going anywhere. I'm not fighting them anymore, though.
I have a question. Has the other volumes of the Fandom Menace novels come out?
I think we're still on number 2 funding.
They're currently making the second one.
What? Too late? What? Number 2? Oh.
I was just curious because I don't know. It's been.
He's supposed to make 5.
Yeah. I can't be too harsh. I might talk to him soon. I have to reach out to him again. Stephen Walton.
Man, God bless you. You're a better person than me.
I like to talk to most people, not everyone. I used to be talking to everyone, and then that was a disaster. So
you got to curate a little bit.
Yes, I didn't realize what the internet has to offer. I'm like, I want to talk to everyone, and then I did, and now I'm like, no, I want to talk to most people. Most people.
I am curious to see how he would handle opposition outside of his channel. Not impolite or to badger him, but to debate his points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still would. I'm still up for it. Xenos' Captain Marvel is a damn good movie. I took off my hate goggles, I set them on the table, and I enjoyed it.
I think it's a pretty abysmal movie, but in my popcorn bucket collection, I still have a Captain Marvel popcorn bucket, and I have a mini Captain Marvel poster in my room just because I'm thankful for all that Brie Larson has done for our fandom.
She's a young girl. My wife put me in check. She's like, "What the hell are you doing on the internet? You're hating on this girl just because you said something you didn't like? She's younger, a lot younger than you. Grow up." And I want to enjoy Captain Marvel. And now I don't feel like I could go to the movies with you and enjoy it. And what are you doing? She's put me in check. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I did reevaluate myself after I made a few Captain Marvel videos, and now I call her Captain Marvelous, and I support Brie Larson, and I subscribed to her channel as soon as she made it.
Yeah, I think the whole Brie Larson thing is kind of overdone.
Yeah.
She didn't stop any. My question to anyone who criticized her comment is, how bad did you want? What was the movie she was defending?
Wrinkle in Time.
Wrinkle in Time. That's right. What? How did Brie Larson stop you from seeing that movie, and how bad did you want to see it before her comments?
All right.
That's all I want to know.
This reminds me. When was the last time there was a Nerds and Players video?
Oh, he's pretty funny.
Yeah,
those are hilarious.
I have to research that. I have to ask Snowdub. But Aladdin, that makes me super confident. He's on the cover. Doom Croc's on the cover. Volume 2, Rise of the Rebellion is on Indiegogo. Okay.
Oh, God.
Now, what if Doomcock is the Commandant and that gets found out?
You know why I stopped covering it, Firewater?
Why?
Because I got a lot of people like, I don't care. They don't care.
Okay.
I was shocked. Like, so what? So what? Maybe they were joking. The majority of comments were like, "What if?"
No. Here's the thing. And this is the thing with anonymity on the internet. Obviously, you don't see me or anything like that. There's no video. You just get my voice. But that's a double-sided coin. Because let's say, and I hope this doesn't happen. I really don't. But let's say somebody gets his information and wants to leverage him. What is he going to go to? Was he going to go to the police? He'll be ousted as a racist. Mm-hmm. Major news outlets have talked about Overlord DVD.
Yeah.
Don't you think they want some dirt on him? If it is true.
I think if he ever got cornered,
He's got to be careful,
it
man.
would be super hard to prove, like that.
No, you're right. It is. It is.
But then he would just say, "Oh, it was a character."
Yeah, but I think it would give the mainstream media. It would put a black eye on that whole fandom movement because now they would be like, "Oh, well, one of your leaders is a staunch supporter of very, very bad behavior." I'll just phrase it out.
Max, check your DMs on Twitter. I sent you the Volume 2 cover.
Oh no, I was gonna try to get him on the show. I can't make fun of him. I can't.
No, we're not making fun of him. I'm curious to see if he could defend his points under scrutiny. I don't think he'll be.
Oh no, John Cox is on the cover. That's cool.
John Cox needs some Rogaine. Somebody set up a GoFundMe.
Wow,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Jesus.
John Cox and Mega Hater. That's like the worst. I'm sorry. I don't want to go back to old Max, but that is the worst of the crew, Volume 2. Your covers, Steven. Change your cover. I'm gonna tell Steven Walton to change his cover with these are the worst of the crew. I'm sorry. These are the worst. I'm sorry. I gotta be real. John Cox, Mega Hater, and Jesse Big Stones, and Doom Croc. John talks like Jeremy. Mega Hater 42. That's what I used to call him.
I wonder what Jesse's been doing with her time because she can't get thrown out of bars anymore.
I haven't checked out her channel. I think I'll
I don't know. I can't.
I'm reverting back to bad.
I know. I'm doing this. I'm trying to be better. 2021, I'm trying to be better.
You pull me back in.
I know.
Goldman, you had to show me that cover.
So you need to get your Ghost Rider helmet back.
I still have it over there.
You need to bring the heat.
But I'm just I don't know, man. I'm trying to be better. I'm gonna critique the fandom menace. I'm gonna do it professionally, so to speak, meaning using professional language. Right. But sometimes my inner kid comes out of me. What can I say? I have to do better. I
understand. It's hard. It's hard.
But I mean that cover. I mean, like, how did he think he was gonna get 5 volumes out of this thing?
Well.
Are people going to give a shit about this in 2027?
He should put Gina Carano on the third Volume 3. Gina Carano.
She would sue his ass. Like, you're not using my fucking likeness. Get the fuck out of here.
She might be all for it now. I don't know. They listen to us. The talent's listening to us. Although I've had some mixed results on talent of Gina Carano in the comment section. Even though I like her, that her acting ability, people are not sold. I think she did better in season 1 than season 2. I think season 2 she's faltered a little bit.
You didn't give her much in season 2.
That's true.
I think she did an all right job. She's not going to win any Academy Awards for her performance, but I thought she was. I'd like to see more of her character. She gave me enough to see more. When I heard she's a very lovely person, so.
I don't know that Zeno and this Cell 1 keep talking about Captain Marvel in the comment section. I think it might be Zeno's second account. because Zeno said, I really like this. I really like the Cell guy. I've never seen two people really going super positive about Captain Marvel in the comments. Okay, nice, thanks. Oh, Jordan Balls.
Gonna be a boxer. God bless you. Please be careful.
Boxer, yeah, be careful,
please.
Hey, if you're training with your dad, though, that's exciting. If that's the route you want to go,
you're assuming he's doing the sport and not becoming a dog.
Yes, I am.
Yes. I don't think anyone assumed what you were saying, like the boxer, Jordan,
great sport. Speaking of boxing, anyone see Nate Robinson get the F knocked out of him? And Snoop Dogg started singing church hymns.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Oh, you got to watch it on YouTube.
All right, I'll check it out. I
don't follow boxing either.
No, but it's hysterical. Like Snoop Dogg's commentating, and actually, he said he would do more fights. He just needs like $3 million. I'm like, I'm money well spent. Let's get this man a check. Because he was hysterical, dude. He's
Max.
absolutely hysterical.
Oh, thanks, cool man. Thanks.
I know. I'm gonna bounce.
Deuces,
Okay.
my guy.
Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure as always.
Yeah.
Good talking to the rest of you guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
Great to see
All
you,
right,
man.
thanks, cool man.
And then there were 3.
Jordan Balls, I'm going to do the sport.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad. See, my assumption was correct, so you could take your judgment.
No, it's more like,
yeah,
Ball's like, no, I'm not a dog. I'm not a dog.
Bro knows what I'm talking about. Snoop had me dying. Snoop should commentate everything, and also he's a boss ass plinko player on Price is Right. He won
really?
some chick $20,000.
Oh wow.
He's like, no, put it right here. Put it right here. Bing, 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 bing. All right, 10,000.
Zeno, don't you got to be nice to the panel talent. I said Zeno, I said you could be on too, but he says his true talent is in the chat. He said I'm most effective in the chat.
Fair enough.
Those who can't do chat.
Oh, don't cancel language.
What are you gonna say that about me? Because those who can't make YouTube videos come on other people's streams. No,
you would get good. Firestar, if he wanted to, he'd get good views.
Yeah, you could at least get rage views.
Nah. It's not how I want to live my life, though, man. I'm generally a very happy individual. Obviously,
yeah. My madness.
Everyone has shit, but like
I try to leave my madness behind me. I want to be more optimistic about future entertainment movies, series. I want to find the good and stuff, but I also think at the same point you can't play softball because they have good opportunities, just like Patty Jenkins, and she whiffed. And this is only thing she worked on for how many years, and it was this bad. That's sad. And it also took the opportunity away from another director. I need the big payday.
Well, I don't think she knew she was gonna whiff, though.
Yeah.
You know,
well, she said, mine, my production company, my special effects. I know what I'm doing. Just trust me.
Okay, fair enough.
And you deserve and you deserve what the response. I'm sorry.
She got rewarded with a Star Wars movie.
This is Zeno. I think Captain Marvel 2 will be much better. The director's different. Monica the second Captain Marvel and Marvel Comics will be in part 2 and WandaVision. Okay. Ooh, damn.
No, but Jordan's got a point, dude. Nate Robinson, if anyone watched the boxing, I know a little bit about boxing, by no means an expert. I'm just a fan and an enthusiast. He was kind of rushing into the fight, and all Jake needed to do was just poke him, and wait for an opening. And I mean, I would not want to take a punch from Jake Paul. Kid hits like a truck. He dropped him, and then he hit him so bad. Snoop Dogg started singing church hymns, praying for his soul. It's fucking hysterical, though, man.
I'd be more interested to see Snoop Dogg's commentating than the actual boxing. I'm not that big. I like boxing movies, like I like Rocky and stuff, but actual boxing where I could see someone get hurt.
Fascinating sport. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to pay to see Logan Paul get his ass beat by Floyd Mayweather.
Now that is someone I wouldn't mind seeing get. I hate Logan Paul.
Yeah, I mean, Jake is actually a decent fighter. Logan's just a punching. Logan's your Rocky, and Floyd Mayweather's going to be the Apollo Creed. But the only difference is that Mayweather's going to put him down in like 3. The only reason Logan would stay in the fight is because Mayweather doesn't want his fans to be disappointed. They paid for 10 rounds. Give him 8. You know, you knock him out in 1 or 2. Well, Floyd's not really a first round knockout guy, but you knock him out. You gas him in the 3rd and 4th round, and then you just fucking beat the hell out of him. The people are going to be pissed, and because now he's doing these. He's going to fight these celebrities, man. He's going to Japan again. He's getting like $8 million. He's going to fight another top fighter out there and beat the hell out of him for, whatever, for some cheap money,
Well, I am going to end the stream because I'm going on 2.5 hours, and I still got to finish Tenet, and I got to be sharp to understand the movie.
Oh, did you watch Cobra Kai? Did anyone watch Cobra Kai?
Not yet. Because I asked the wife, I'm like, do you want to watch Cobra Kai or watch Tenet? And I said, I kind of really want to see Tenet. And she's like, okay. And then she left. So we should have watched
did the
Cobra
whole
Kai.
Season, technically yesterday because it's past midnight now.
Okay.
So I did the whole season, and I thought it was fantastic.
No spoilers.
But it was for me to, I accidentally, I woke up, I was having difficulty sleeping. I woke up to go use the bathroom, and I was like, oh, it's probably like 1:30. And I was like, oh, it's almost 3 a.m. Okay. Let me go watch some Who's and What's. But let me and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was great. But I won't spoil anything. I think it's worth your time though.
Do you like it better than season 2? Because I like season 2, but season 1 I think was superior to, in my opinion.
I like season 3. Season 3 is probably my favorite.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think all of them are very good. Season 2 was probably be my least.
Yeah,
but still, still good television. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was great. But it's fantastic. But anyways, I know. Yeah, wow, you've been going a long time.
So yeah, I know. Thank you, shit. Angus. Go sub to Angus if you'd like. I know Zeno is going to go right over there because of this comment. Although, yeah, Zeno, I checked out your channel. You did have it's like 2K views, but it was like on the Cyberpunk quality on a base PS4.
Oh, good lord.
Good video. I got to do more gameplay videos.
Cyberpunk is a complete disaster.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a video a day now. Get heavy in the comics coverage. I'll be reviewing Gandolfo issues 1 and 2 over the next couple of days, and I got a couple Comicscape projects. Pillowman and Blanket Boy, a children's Comicscape project. Looks fun.
Comicscape children's project? What the hell?
Yeah, and then I don't know what the premise is. I just saw them some people on Twitter pushing this last year, and it was a low price point. It's called More Lethal. For good things. I haven't read it yet, but I'll be reviewing those soon. And Vestige and Magic Cop. I'm way late reviewing those, but I want to do them well because I respect the creators. So yeah, I look forward to that. I'll probably put the Unsacred #1 tonight, and it might be up in the morning.
Oh, cool. Check that out. I will. Angus, you're welcome back. Firestarter, people were beginning to talk. Where's Firestarter? I was like,
yeah, no, I did send you a DM. I don't know if after I suspended my account it went away. I did say I was taking a little bit of a break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my apologies for that. And I did send you a Discord message too, there, sir.
Oh, I haven't been on. That's my fault. I haven't been on Discord forever.
So, yeah, yeah, no, it was great to see everyone and chat with everyone, and always a good discussion. Yeah. But I'm curious to see what happens in 6 months with the Fandom Menace. I'm very curious to see.
Tina Carano's going to join. No, I don't know.
No, because you got people that were once aligned. I think it was Stephen Walton and Ichibako started going after each other.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Right? Am I right on that, Angus?
Yeah, I don't know the full context between them, but Ichibaka said, "I'm out with the Fandom Menace," and talking about himself. And
really?
Yeah, it's all about essentially people liking the Mandalorian, and I was having an argument with him where it's like him and Stephen Wayne. I'm like, if your whole thing is you hate Disney Star Wars, then quit watching it, quit talking about it.
Right.
But you won't, because if you just talk about the old stuff, no one's gonna click on that unless look at EU channels, big EU channels. They're pigeonholed. They got a small community. You're not gonna grow from that unless Lucasfilm brought back EU content, which they're not.
And older Star Wars film fans, unfortunately, are dying out. If you were in your 30s, in the 70s, you're getting fucking old. You know what I'm saying? How many people could have seen now that are alive? That are, I'm sure they exist, that saw the original Star Wars in theaters and that are super active in this internet fan culture. Ichibaka is the only one I know because he said he saw the original Star Wars.
Well, there's some that got in on this just to complain about everything. Seriously,
yeah, they just want to dunk on people online.
That's where I was like, if they start to listen and start to try to do even the Rise of Skywalker, even though I didn't like it, they were trying to fix what fans were upset about. So
there wasn't really any SJW bullshit in that movie, the quote unquote talking points for that. So
right, and that's
but what I find interesting too, because when I was scouring the hashtag, it was like, well, even if Disney makes all these corrections, I don't think I'm going to be like, well, then you know what, dude, you're a non-customer,
right?
Why would anyone listen to you?
Yeah, that's my whole point. And they're trying to blast me. It was like, oh,
no,
why are you trying to change your opinion? And it's like, I'm not imposing opinion, I'm questioning yours, but then the spin against me is like, if you're really fan of Menace, anyone can have an opinion. It's like, I never argue that. I'm just saying, opinion Disney's not going to listen to because you're saying do this, and then you're like, well, I don't care because it's Disney. So it's like,
we'll cross this line.
Non-customer.
Like, you're a non-customer. It's sort of like, and that's what, correct me if I'm wrong, the history with Comicsgate was like, well, they're not listening to us. Let's make our own products.
Yeah.
I mean,
obviously, I pushed for 2 years. Let's make content. If you're so mad at the industry, make your own shit. And no one besides Rookie Critic and Walton with his histories volumes has done anything. You can say Star Wars, but he's not.
But then again, you had Stealing Solo, but that's not really Comicsgate, so I'm not going to hold them accountable for that. That was a complete fucking disaster. But you're right. If you're unhappy with something, either stop talking about it, or like you said, if you're never going to be satisfied with Disney Star Wars, then why would they pay attention to you? If I own a restaurant and all I serve is steak and all you eat is vegan, why am I going to listen to your opinions? Doesn't make a lick of sense. So
I agree.
So I mean, it's like you spent your hand, and if that person, oh man, I'm like losing my voice. What the fuck? If that person is not representative of a decent sample of the fandom menace, then they could say they won all day, but they basically lost. Because the ones that are going to like Disney Star Wars are not going to want to interact with the people that don't like it anymore. If they're happy with The Mandalorian, and let's say most of the shows are okay, the fact that, you don't have to like all the Star Wars combat to come out. I'm actually most fascinated with the Acolyte because I'm curious about how the dark side, kind of infiltrates and all that. Because I always found that, even from the Phantom Menace, the reason why Sidious, I always believe, is more powerful than Maul. Maul was an assassin. He could beat anyone one-on-one, right? Well, minus Obi-Wan. But Sidious can control fucking planets. You know what I'm saying? Which has more power? The ability to take out targets, which is useful, or Sidious being able to kind of manipulate governments. It's fascinating, right? And it's kind of like, so I'm kind of, that's why the Acolyte kind of tickled my fancy. I was like, oh, this will be interesting, but maybe it'll suck. I don't know.
I'm interested in all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I got my Disney Plus subscription. I'm signed up. They're up in the fees in March.
I can't believe they went back to that Lando thing. I mean, I'm still hope it's good, but I'm like,
no, I am a Lando hater. I never liked his character. I can give Childish Gambino credit for taking up the role, but I've never liked Lando. I don't get the appeal of the character.
She hasn't really.
I always just thought he was like, out of all because in my opinion, the original trilogy, like Han's like sort of cool, but he's kind of a dork. Luke is definitely, at least in A New Hope, is kind of a goofy dork. Lando was cool. Lando was smooth. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You don't like him, but that was the appeal for me. I was like, wow, this guy's fucking cool. Have a Colt 45.
Yeah, I like Lando. It's just that the success of The Mandalorian, she basically just announces a bunch of things again. This is what she did years ago.
Well, I mean, Disney's got to make money off this IP, man, especially because I'm a Disney stockholder. Yeah, I want them to fucking maximize, but they have to put out quality. Otherwise, the free market will correct itself.
You're not investing in AT&T in DC?
No, I have Verizon. I actually have Verizon in my portfolio.
No, I got AT&T coverage on my phone, but I would never directly invest like stocks.
They pay a good dividend, but CNN's bleeding money. Warner Media, I'm glad I bought Verizon because Verizon has just as good as a dividend, and because I have a couple of growth stocks and a couple of dividend stocks. I'm really glad that they don't own any media or something like that, or at least as far as I know, Warner Media is under fire. HBO might be kind of in a lot of trouble, or they're going to have to bend the knee severely like they did with Dune. Whereas Disney owns all their own shit. They don't, you know what I'm saying? That's they pay zero in licensing fees. Netflix pays $1.5 billion a year. So in terms of Disney, with Disney Plus, it's the way of the future, man. It's the way of the future. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, and I'm sorry. But I mean, if I want to take my wife out to a movie, you got 2 kids, right? What is it going to cost you, a bill just for tickets? Or at least 60, well, no, maybe not a bill, but theaters by me are $20 a head for adults. So we
Yeah,
need to
about
buy
10
fucking
where I'm
snacks.
at.
What's that?
About 10 ahead where I'm at.
Okay, so I mean, you take the kids. It's gonna now. Kids are obviously gonna want snack. I want snacks when I go to. Give me the big ass tub of popcorn. I'll put a pound of butter on it. Let's go. You know, it's you know, or I could pay my $15 a month for HBO Max. You know, like order in some actual good food.
I like that.
Hey, Max, thanks for having me. We'll have to stream my channel and stuff and back and forth. Thanks for having me, everyone in the
My
chat.
apologies. I get a little rambly when I'm tired.
No. You're fine. I should have gone a while ago, but I've been having fun. But yeah, appreciate anyone that comes by and subs channel. Give me feedback in the comments. Give me inspiration for future content. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right, I'm gonna head out too because I want to.
Yeah,
I want to watch.
feel like I was boring everyone. I was going.
No. You're fine. It just once I get past the 2-hour mark streaming, I'm like,
Yeah, I know, man. It's a long time. But
Yeah.
I will, and I started much later than you, so I'm sort of fresh.
Well, I want to finish Tenet too. Wife's not gonna.
How are you liking it so far? Just real quick.
It's interesting. I like. I mean, his films always look great. It's not my favorite Nolan film, but it's interesting. I think the performances are good. The main actor, I don't know his name yet. I like him a lot.
John David Washington, the African American gentleman.
Yes, he's really great.
John David. That's Denzel Washington's son.
Really? I didn't know that.
And he played pro football at one point too.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that. I'm enjoying it. I don't really understand everything that's going on. I'm exactly halfway through, and I just want to finish it, see what I think of it, see if I understand what's going on. Something about like the inverse of things happening, and I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'm not good at explaining it.
Yeah, it sounds like almost like Inception, which was great, but I still don't fully grasp it.
Well, I said I think I said this earlier on the stream before you got on. I think a lot of Nolan fanboys like to be like. I think his movies have really interesting ideas. They always look great, but a lot of them, I don't know if the logic is completely sound in the scenario that he presents. It's just like the cool thing to do is get out of a Nolan film. That was amazing. I completely understand. Like, you know, that guy. And I don't always think everything makes sense. I don't know if everything's logical. I wouldn't want to do that video either to really examine his films either. I think he's a very intelligent guy, but I just don't know if everything. I'll have to see.
No, I'll have to get. I'll probably buy it because I'm a Nolan fan. I'll just buy it on Amazon. But
no, I'm a big fan of his too. It's just you know how some are like, oh, he's amazing, and they like to be like, oh, I completely get it. I don't see.
Right.
I think there's some holes in some of his films. Interstellar, I didn't like that much. Dunkirk, I liked a lot. It was different for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it on Steelbook, so I'm all in. I just
all right. Well, you're in then.
Yeah, and I want to see if there's any special features because it came with a lot of discs too.
Damn.
It came with 3 discs. I know they don't do the DVD anymore. I think one's an extra Blu-ray of just special features. I'm hoping.
Possible, yeah. That's very interesting. But all right, Max, I'm gonna cut you loose because I know I'd like to get you.
No, I'm glad. I was shocked to see. I'm like, oh, I was just thinking of you today. I'm like, I don't know.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I was thinking it was a good time. I said I was going to give myself until the new year, and I did. So I held to my word there. But yeah, I only had like a few more days to activate my account. So I was like, let me do it now before I forget, and then I got to start all over.
So you didn't go to what's the other alternative?
Parlor? Oh, absolutely not. No.
So you didn't show up. I'm just joking with you.
Nope.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
But I just want to say thanks for having me on. Thanks for the chat, for always picking my brain and giving me stuff to think about and respond to, and then giving them things. Symbiotic relationship. But I got to tip, man, because I got to get some rest. I'll catch you later. All right.
Cool. Talk to you later.
Deuces.
Bye, everyone.